Chapter 803. These experts were already activating their magic treasures. If it wasn't under their feet, then it was above their heads. One of the origin source giants shouted, "It's just him. There's no need to be afraid of him." Su Fang, who was surrounded, waved his hand, and the head of the young expert he had killed appeared in his palm. Another origin source expert. "Just now, I gave your companion a chance to work for me. I, Su Fang, will definitely take the Zhuotian realm. Today, if you want to stop me, then I'll kill you all. But if you surrender, then when I get the Zhuotian realm, you will be the kings of your own territory. You won't need to look at the realm lord's face. I'll give you freedom and resources." The bloody head was still dripping with blood, and a pair of large eyes that could not close in peace were oozing blood spots. It was as if this young expert was not only filled with despair, but also regret. Why did he die here? Needless to say, the head shocked every expert. For a moment, it was as if their feet were rooted to the ground. The origin source giant trembled. "What are you all standing there for? The old realm lord has fallen, and now a new realm lord has been born. Why should our small world be afraid of a single cultivator? I don't think you're all afraid of me. Just now, you all knew how powerful that giant tortoise was. Look at the Wu-Tan realm. The world barrier is too weak in front of it. No matter how many experts you send, they won't be my match. People are always on the edge of fear. They will erupt with unimaginable potential. Everyone is just weighing their own choices. Since you've cultivated the Wu-Tan realm's origin source, then you must be one of the Wu-Tan realm's sovereigns. The others have their own choices. If you want to stop me, then please do it." Su Fang's gaze suddenly became fierce. He ignored everyone else, only the great magnate who possessed the origin of Wu-Tan realm. "Do you think I'm afraid of you?" The magical treasure that the expert took out shook violently. It turned out to be a long spear. The spear was surrounded by flames. Suddenly, it shot out like an arrow. The flames were the wings of the arrow. Pushed by the expert, it pierced through the river of stars. Furthermore, the spear's quality was not bad. When it pierced through the river of stars, it gave off the aura of a treasure that was 300 meters long. It was enough to kill any cultivator below the realm lord level. Pooh! However, before the magical weapon could reach Su Fang, a strange aurora appeared on the neck of the powerful expert. It disappeared without a trace, and as soon as it appeared, it slashed across the neck of the powerful expert. A bloody mist burst forth, and the head's flesh and blood began to gush out. Under the pillar of blood, it was as if a bloody flower was being propped up. The head immediately lost its balance and began to roll about in the starry river. As for the magical treasure, it lost its aura in midair. Because it had lost the will of the cultivator controlling it, it became an ownerless treasure. "People like you are no match for me. Think carefully before you attack. If I want to kill you, it will only take an instant." Su Fang looked around in disdain, and then flew towards the undying tortoise. Those experts were stunned where they stood, looking at the corpses of the two origin giant. They would probably never forget this scene for the rest of their lives. They even dared to deal with Su Fang. By the time Su Fang reached the top of the undying turtle, there were over 10,000 magical treasures, as well as a spiderweb-like spell formation, attacking it. The undying turtle had created a huge hole in the world barrier. Over 10,000 experts had set up a grand formation in the sky, releasing their magical treasures to stop the undying turtle from entering the Wu-Tan realm. The combined power of over 10,000 cultivators and the power of the world barrier was truly enough to stop the undying turtle. However, the undying turtle was still slowly advancing towards the Wu-Tan realm. If this continued, even 10,000 people wouldn't be able to stop the undying turtle. "Master!" A big goblin was running through the starry river with a large amount of flesh. Just as Su Fang was about to attack, he saw the big goblin and had it help the undying turtle enter the Wu-Tan realm. This big goblin was naturally the Vermilion Emperor. The Vermilion Emperor had used the divine image jade annulus to cultivate. It had also devoured a large amount of immortal chi and immortal essence blood. It was also an ancient variant beast with a mysterious inheritance. Its strength had increased to the point of being comparable to the Green Feather King. It arrived at the Undying Turtle's side, and under Su Fang's signal, it spat out its demonic poison. Then the might of a Tao item shook the sky. The fury of a demonic god swept through the formation. Bang bang bang! The Vermilion Emperor's original body, coupled with its running, spat out its fangs and demonic poison, directly rushed into the Wu Tan realm experts, smashing them into pieces. Coupled with the fury of a demonic god attacking over 10,000 magic treasures, the Vermilion Emperor's combat power had reached such a level. The ancient Pig Horse King was indeed extraordinary. Now, Su Fang had so many variant beasts, many of which had reached the strength of 3 calamities. He also had the demonic poison that even humans were afraid of. Just the 20,000 big goblin under his command was enough to take down the Wu Tan realm. Coupled with the Undying Turtle that had yet to unleash its full power, how terrifying would that be? According to the Undying Tortoise, it didn't want to destroy the Wu Tan world. If it wanted to, it could just chomp the Wu Tan world into pieces. Outside the core of the earth, the Wu Tan world would turn into dust in front of it. At this time, many of the experts of the Wu Tan realm were killed by the Big Goblin and Su Fang's subordinate. Su Zhenhua had the essence refining immortal pearl, together with Elder He Zun, Qin Yuanho, and other experts, using the advantage of the Big Goblin. It was not difficult to deal with the experts of the Wu Tan realm. There was also an expert with a supreme Tao item, Li Haojie. He killed one side alone, released hundreds of Big Goblin, and also called out Saintess Aozhen. He activated the Yuan-suppressing demon transforming Heavenly Book, and a large number of blood curses fell from the sky. If it was not a Big Goblin, even a cultivator would be shackled by the blood curses. Savior Li Haojie rose from the heaven and earth, and had extraordinary abilities. No wonder he had a young nascent soul before and could control a Tao item. This kind of savior is too terrifying. Fortunately, I met Li Haojie early and became friends with him. If this kind of person became an enemy, it would be 10,000 times more terrifying than Prince Shui and the Third Prince. On his side, there were too many experts who could hold their own. Together with Tong Tian Venerable Monster, Wooling Goblin, 9-segment Earth Dragon, 9-headed Goblin King, Brute Force Goblin King, Purple Wind Goblin, and other invincible Big Goblin, they were equivalent to Sorcerer Heiyun. Even if Sorcerer Heiyun was difficult to deal with, he was still a human. He did not have the terrifying demonic poison and mutated abilities of the Big Goblin. More reinforcements. Both sides were killing each other inside and outside the world barrier. Su Fangda's perfect ability saw tens of thousands of experts appear from different world barriers or holes. Some of the cultivators were obviously experts from different factions. Their attire showed that they were the major factions from the Wu Tan world that Su Fang once knew. There were even thousands of experts from the Green Lotus Sword sect. I am not afraid of the Realm Lord and his faction, but I am afraid that the countless cultivation factions in the Wu Tan world will listen to the Realm Lord's orders and attack me. That will not be easy. Seeing so many experts coming to support him, he frowned for a moment. Then, he immediately entered the world barrier by himself. As soon as he entered, he regretted that he had entered the Wu Tan world earlier. It turned out that below the world barrier, there were about a dozen experts sent by major factions. They had joined forces with the factions under the Realm Lord, and there were more and more of them. After sensing for a while, he suddenly activated the world barrier and flashed past the countless experts. There was no movement until one of the experts suddenly evaporated and was sucked into the depths of the world barrier. In the clouds high up in the sky, Su Fang grabbed an origin source cultivator and appeared from the void. This person only had the strength of a heavenly calamity of the flying, immortal realm. In just an instant, this person was scared out of his wits. Su Fang released the voice of the supreme heavenly demon, once again causing this expert to completely lose his will. As soon as Su Fang asked, he answered honestly. The new realm lord was the #1 expert under the old sovereign, Sovereign Dijun. Under the old sovereign's instructions, he merged with the Wu-Tan world. After the old sovereign fell, he became the Wu-Tan world's realm lord. He knows that you're not easy to deal with. He sent many experts but still couldn't stop you. Right now, he's above the Green Lotus Sword Sect's Dao field, gathering tens of thousands of Green Lotus Sword Sect's factions. Almost all the first-rate factions have come, including the Devil Path, the Yao Race, and the Evil Path. Sovereign Dijun wants these factions to help him and send experts to help him kill you. Right now, he's at the Green Lotus Sword Sect's Dao field. The expert blurted out what he knew and what Su Fang wanted to know. You're very honest. I've already planted a seal in your young nascent soul. Now I'll give you a chance to live. Go and persuade the experts you know to give up resistance and join me. With a grab, he threw the expert into the sky. Su Fang quickly flew toward the Green Lotus Sword Sect. The Green Lotus Sword Sect. This was no stranger to Su Fang. There were many factions in the Wu-Tan world, and Su Fang had a certain understanding of them in his memories. In less than 3 breaths, he crossed several continents and came to the depth. The ground below was the Dao field of the Green Lotus Sword Sect. As soon as his great perfection ability penetrated, and he sensed the familiar aura of the Green Lotus Sword Sect, countless cultivators were gathering toward the Green Lotus Sword Sect. There were already more than 100,000 winged transformation realm and flying celestial realm experts gathered above the Green Lotus Sword Sect. Among these experts, there were experts of the Devil Path, the Evil Path, and the Yao Race. It seemed that they were the representatives of the various factions in this endless corner of the Wu-Tan world. What a shocking force! After spending some time, he sensed the aura of a large number of origin source cultivators in the Green Lotus Sword Sect who had the origin source of the Wu-Tan world. One of them had an extremely rich world aura, completely surpassing the origin source cultivators Su Fang had met before. It was obviously Sovereign Dijun. Haha, I'll meet you now, Sovereign Dijun. Activating the power of the world, the Wu-Tan world's origin source hid in the vast nature and was also controlled by him, turning into a great divine power. When he got close to the Green Lotus Sword Sect, he stripped the aura of a disciple and used the bone-changing technique to easily enter the Green Lotus Sword Sect. Su Fang didn't care about the more than 100,000 experts. They couldn't really work for Sovereign Dijun. It had to be known that they had to look at the face of the Wu-Tan world's realm lord to establish their faction. The Green Lotus Sword Sect was worthy of being called a major faction. There were powerful barriers everywhere. When Su Fang came to the depths of the barrier, there were people blocking him, not allowing him to enter. Only then did Su Fang use a great divine power to secretly sneak in. At this time, Su Fang, who controlled the Wu-Tan world's origin source and the Green Lotus Sword Sect's origin source, was like an uninhabited land. When he came to the depths of a space where spiritual qi and immortal qi intertwined, he immediately saw a palace with hundreds of experts gathered. Most of them were experts of the Green Lotus Sword Sect, all of them in the flying celestial realm. A small number of them were origin source experts. They should be the subordinates of Sovereign Dijun. When he came to the front of the palace, he immediately heard a heroic voice. Emir Su Fang has long been a bandit. In the past, he was chased by countless factions of the Zhuotian world and had to hide everywhere. Now, he probably has the support of some experts and dares to kill his way into my Wu-Tan world. And that was after 7-star and Senior Holly left. This child is a complete scoundrel and won't be able to cause any waves. But this child is also a capable person. I don't know where he found these experts, as well as quite a few big goblin. After hearing that, Su Fang used the power of a great perfection expert to enter the palace. He saw that the speaker was an old man in his 60s wearing a black cloak. He had a goatee and gave off an unfathomable feeling. Chapter 804. The old man's goatee was like an upturned mountain range, exuding a lofty aura. Although he was close to 60 years old, the old man did not look old at all. Instead, he was hale and hearty, and his eyes were full of vigor. This was a peerless expert whose cultivation had reached the peak. Naturally, he was the new realm lord of Wu-Tan world, Saint Dijon. He has only grasped the Wu-Tan world, but his world chi is extremely dense and unfathomable. This person is no ordinary origin realm expert. The great perfection stage was able to see through the main hall, and his vision was placed on the experts below. As expected of the Green Lotus Sword sect. Even though the sect master, Immortal Huang Yuan, who came from the lower realm, and many experts of the sect had fallen in the Zhuotian realm, many of these Green Lotus Sword sect experts had also stepped into the Three Dao Calamity stage. After all, it was the number one force in the Wu-Tan realm, and it also had a mysterious connection with the Wu-Tan realm. A cultivation force born under such a background could create many giants in the fairy realm. Other than the majority of the Green Lotus Sword sect's experts, there were almost 100 origin source experts. There were also some elders who seemed to be on the verge of ascending. Their statuses were clearly extraordinary. Honorable Sector Lord, Su Fang is truly cunning. Immortals came down to find him but did not dare to show themselves. In the end, when the immortals left, he invaded our Wu-Tan world. It was an old man from the Green Lotus Sword sect. This person also had unparalleled power. In terms of aura alone, this old man was not much weaker than the Earth Truth Sacred Sovereign. It seemed that this old man was currently the most powerful person in the Green Lotus Sword sect. With the fall of sect master Lu Qingfeng, the Green Lotus Sword sect would have a new leader like the Wu-Tan field. Sacred Venerable Dijon looked at the elder. Stew the monster hun? You want to roll over Ci Bao? The Taoist's words are equal to zinc? Sakura? What is the bandit Sigma Acacia? Zhong Diwei Jin Fukong Lu? Sneakily sneaking around? A court case? Is this a joke? Hat? Extreme punishment? Are you willing to accept it? Worry-free kryptonite? Wandering in the wilderness? Shell seal. It was obvious that the relationship between these two was not shallow, and the feeling was not ordinary. From the Green Lotus Sword sect? Shrug trench jump bottle? Clang. Pretty Dr. W block model? Delete the Yu Hui emblem Yu Yong Sui Lu? Xiao Shui Shi? Mount Wei Tua WMO Shi Pelican Wei Shi? Su by rolling his sword? What? Cut. Empty folding duck? Tu Huan? Sure take mushroom, Shua Danzong? Screen new? Si Bai Ba Bo. An extremely young disciple of the Green Lotus Sword sect said, It's just Su Fang. Is there a need for so many people? This person can't be joked around. In the past, the old sect master and the Celestials were unable to catch him time and time again. That shows how difficult it is to deal with him. Seniors, don't think too highly of a brat. He was able to escape the pursuit of senior immortals because he was hiding like a mouse. Right. Now that he's made a public appearance, it's the best opportunity for us to suppress him. There were many young experts and young elites in the surroundings. All of them had a condescending attitude. They all wanted to suppress Su Fang with their own hands and make a name for themselves in the world. Sacred Venerable Dijon's aura changed instantly, causing the young cultivators to quickly shut their mouth. Everyone, you should know that more than 200,000 experts from the 8 true cultivation forces have gathered in the Green Lotus Sword sect. It's time to lead them to kill Su Fang. The people below raised their arms and shouted, This brat is tired of living. He must be killed without mercy. At this moment, just as the experts were about to step out, an illusory laughter suddenly spread in the main hall. Do you think you can do anything to Su Fang? Who is it? The main hall was instantly filled with a trembling and murderous aura. Hundreds of experts turned around and looked around. Most of them were staring at the entrance of the main hall. Sacred Venerable Dijun smiled in surprise and slowly stood up in front of everyone. Who else? Naturally, I want to kill Su Fang. Su Fang. Everyone was taken aback. Soon after, they all had shocked expressions. They never thought that Su Fang would dare to come here. Isn't he courting death? How dare he? Whoosh! Sacred Venerable Dijun suddenly flew over the expert. Outside the main hall, a large number of Green Lotus Sword sect disciples had already surrounded them. Just as Sacred Venerable Dijun appeared, Su Fang also walked over casually. It was as if Green Lotus Sword sect and the current Realm Lord did not exist in front of him. It's really you. Sacred Venerable Dijun swept his gaze across coldly. It was as if this space would tremble and be instantly frozen. Su Fang did not give up. I also know that you are Sacred Venerable Dijun and have just become the Wu Tan Realm Lord. You are also very strong, and the Wu Tan realm has a rich foundation. I, Su Fang, do not want to destroy this place, nor do I want to fight to the death. As long as you, Sacred Venerable Dijun, think clearly and submit to me, I will still let you become the Realm Lord. Haha, Su Fang, you really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. I am the Supreme Realm Lord, and you actually said such words in front of me. What's funny is that it's easy for you to come today, but it's impossible for you to leave. Is that so? If I want to leave, who can stop me? In a flash, Su Fang disappeared into thin air again. Seal. The Supreme Elder of Green Lotus Sword Sect? Ziyang Chongli? Kill Pan Chen? Lin Zhanlia? Steal Lin Zhanlia? Boom. But it was not the seal that he wanted, but the power that came from his control. It suddenly exploded. It was Su Fang who used his strength to forcefully break the seal. Chase. Sacred Venerable Dijun gave the order, and brought hundreds of experts and countless disciples of Green Lotus Sword Sect to pass through the barrier. 2-2 outside Green Lotus Sword Sect. Countless experts from various factions were gathered in the air. There were more than 200,000 people. Just as they were waiting, they suddenly felt a deafening tremor coming from the inner sanctum of Green Lotus Sword Sect. They were all puzzled, but then they saw countless experts coming out from the barrier, including Sacred Venerable Dijun. It's the Realm Lord. Countless experts were filled with respect towards Sacred Venerable Dijun. Sacred Venerable Dijun floated in the air and looked in all directions. The other experts did not know what he was looking for. He suddenly sneered in disdain. Su Fang, aren't you very courageous to run away? Su Fang hearing this, the countless experts were even more puzzled. They did not understand that the peerless figure from the Zhuotian realm, who was attacking the Wu Tan realm, had actually come to them. Hiss. Above the sky, a figure stepped on the burning clouds and slowly came with the wind. It was Su Fang. He murmured with a smile, "How could I leave Heavenly Venerable Dijun? The reason why I'm waiting for you here is because I want to say something in front of the elders of the countless forces in the world. How can I let you be so impudent? Green Lotus Sword Sex Expert? Simmering danger chirping stirring snatching blowers, falling shrieking 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 shrieking? Asterisk cough asterisk why did the falcon do it? Su Fang's aura was profound. Think about it. If we fight in the Green Lotus Sword Sect, this place will probably be razed to the ground. You don't want the Green Lotus Sword Sect to be damaged. I guarantee that once I'm done talking, we'll go outside this world and fight in the Milky Way. How about we not run away? An old man? Sizzle? Gulu saliva mark. There are so many people here, so many seniors. My words will have a great impact on everyone. I believe everyone wants to hear what I have to say. A man should be at the top. Facing the sector lord, the countless masters of the Green Lotus Sword sect, and the countless giants of the Wu-Tan realm, Su Fang felt like he was standing on top of countless mountains, and only he could see beyond the ninth heaven. His gaze and expression were calm, and completely unafraid of Wu Tanjie. Did Su Fang see Dizhen Holy Lord? Zi Xian Tao? Ping stagger to resist Xian Huanzhu? Miriam? Curtain? What is this word crawling for? Black skeleton tyrannical filter sword? Vinegar fainting carboxylic, charming ribbon, and good at cattle? What about Pan Yu and Cormorant Lai Gong? Supporting Jia? Prison? Are you kidding me? Climbing the record? Ishan Reef Forju? Hydra? Shigure Mushroom? Xing Shan's lawsuit against Lu Yuanfei was completed? Gu Lu Ji, I want to live well. I think everyone has the same idea. I came to Wu Tanjie for a reason. Back then, the three immortals here, Huang Yuran, Seven-Star Child, and Holly, brought the former sector lord and a large number of masters to hunt me down in Zhuotianjie. No matter how lucky I, Su Fang, am, I have experienced life and death time after time. Now that the immortals have come to the upper realm, the former sector lord and the leader of the Green Lotus Sword sect, Lu Qingfeng, have also fallen. This is the best opportunity for Su Fang to take revenge. Everyone present, you have no grievances with Su Fang. I promise you, if I become the Wu Tanjie Lord and unify the small world, then I will promulgate the law so that all forces will always enjoy the territory of your respective dojos in Zhuotianjie. It will be yours for generations to come. I, Su Fang, want to share this small world with everyone. I don't need to ask to know what Zhuotianjie Lord did in the past. As the Realm Lord, he only treated you as tools to condense resources in his hand. It's not too much to say that you are slaves. Since then, Su Fang once again guarantees that you don't have to hand over any resources to Wu Tanjie. The Realm Lord will not forcibly interfere with the various forces and will prosper in Wu Tanjie with everyone. You are now working for Dizhen Sovereign. What will he give you? What will he give you? Will he give you all the power of the Realm Lord? No, never. But I, Su Fang, am different. I can guarantee that once I obtain Wu Tanjie, everything in the world will be shared by everyone. Of course, you can rest assured. I will not be like Dizhen Sovereign, who will join forces with you to deal with a strong enemy. I don't need you to stand on my side. As long as you don't participate in dealing with Dizhen Sovereign, don't listen to Dizhen Sovereign, it means you have agreed to my suggestion. What you need to do is wait for me, Dizhen Sovereign, and the Green Lotus Sword sect to decide a winner. Since you don't have the confidence to deal with Su Fang, it is better not to interfere with either side. Dizhen Sovereign and I will use strength to decide who is the true master of Wu Tanjie. Dizhen Sovereign, that's all I have to say. If you are really the Realm Lord and really care about Wu Tanjie, then come to the Star River. I, Su Fang, will wait for you in the endless Star River outside this world. In front of hundreds of thousands of people and peerless giants, Su Fang was imposing without being angry. His words contained the supreme power of the world, and every sentence he uttered left all the cultivators present speechless. In the end, he looked directly at Dizhen Sovereign. He was challenging Dizhen Sovereign in front of countless cultivators of Wu Tanjie. Ha! Dizhen Sovereign didn't expect a response immediately. He stood with his hands behind his back. I am the Supreme Realm Lord. I naturally have to think about Wu Tanjie. Su Fang is just a bandit. Who doesn't know what you did in Zhuotianjie in the past? First, you betrayed the Celestial Sealing Sect, became a rebel, and slaughtered countless righteous cultivators. You are a despicable person who doesn't keep your words. I don't want to destroy Wu Tanjie because of you, so I will take your head in front of countless people in the Star River and return peace to Wu Tanjie. Supreme! Invincible! Immediately, a large number of origin source cultivators and many experts cheered for Dijin Sovereign. Clearly, Dijin Sovereign's words did have a lot of effect. I will wait for you in the Star River. Su Fong turned around in an instant and rode the clouds towards the sky. Chapter 805. This divine venerable Dijin is indeed a sector lord. At this moment, Su Fong glanced down and saw a large number of cultivators rushing towards divine venerable Dijin. He frowned. To be able to become a sector lord, it is not just strength, but also shrewdness. Previously, when I said what the surrounding cultivators were thinking and poked at their weak spots, divine venerable Dijin immediately acted righteous and decided to turn the tide. The speed of the cloud increased, and he no longer looked down from the corner of his eyes. Brother, sister has suppressed many origin source experts for you. He did not expect the white figure to teleport to the top. He Xianzi Bailing. She gave off a strange aura that came from the power of chaos. Luckily, she had spirit chi, allowing her to be seen in the sky. In the blink of an eye, the two met under the broken world barrier. Sister Bai, you and the undying tortoise are the strongest existences by my side now. When I fight with divine venerable Dijin, if he does anything, immediately activate the heavenly neck spirit ring and kill him. Bai Ling did not understand, her eyes under her eyebrows flashed. You still want to fight with him? Brother, with your ability, you can't just attack him directly. Wu Tan world does not belong to him alone. If I can respect and subdue countless factions, once I control Wu Tan world, then I can control this small world in an extremely short time. If I don't care about these factions, they will join hands with divine venerable Dijin. So troublesome! In the human world, any small matter can bring big trouble to oneself. Now the big picture is my only choice. They are here. Su Fong looked down. A surge of aura surged over the clouds. It was divine venerable Dijin leading thousands of experts, as well as countless cultivators deep in the sky, flying towards the sky. In the next moment, Su Fong and Bai Ling jumped out of the world barrier. Bai Ling went to reinforce the other expert. Inside and outside the Wu Tan world barrier, the killing continued. To stop this killing, there was only one winner between Su Fong and divine venerable Dijin. In the end, the winner would stop this killing. In the galaxy, Su Fong moved with the wind and came to a galaxy in Wu Tan world. The entire world barrier was in his sight. A large number of cultivators also flew out of the world barrier. Divine venerable Dijin brought thousands of experts and rushed over. After a few breaths of time, the two sides were separated by a galaxy. Some meteorites whooshed past the two sides, bringing with them a fierce storm. One could clearly feel the pain of the impact on the skin. If the wind was a little stronger, then it could roll up the meteorites and smash the cultivators into meat paste. Dijin turned around and shouted at the thousands of experts. If I lose, Su Fong will be Wu Tan world's Wu Tan world from now on. Of divine venerable Dijin. This again. Sneering inwardly, Su Fong began to activate his Fa-Li. He also secretly told the undying tortoise to stop destroying the Zhuotian realm. If it really attacked, even Dijin's sacred master would not be able to stop the destruction of the Zhuotian realm. Divine venerable Dijin is very strong. Although he is not as strong as Zhuotian world's realm lord, he is still far stronger than Master Heiyun. With my current strength, I can at most reach the flying immortal realm with 2 heavenly calamity Dao. Not only my strength, but also my divine abilities. I have to use my own advantages. My speed is on par with his, but my divine abilities are not as good as his. My true chi is my advantage, as well as my physical body and natal magic treasure. The ethereal true scripture can also allow me to use my divine abilities in the supreme galaxy. I can use the ethereal true scripture without many shackles. In the galaxy, I have an absolute advantage over divine venerable Dijon. I will use my physical body and natal magic treasure to deal with him. In addition, I have Little Star and the small universe immortal pot. Even if divine venerable Dijon has the power left behind by an immortal and a Tao artifact, I am not afraid. The power left behind by an immortal. Su Fong could not help but think of the battle with the third prince. At the last moment, the third prince used a thunder talisman from the great world to shatter the edgeless sword. He almost died. Fortunately, his strength had reached the flying immortal realm and he could use more Tao artifacts. If he encountered that thunder talisman again, he could also resist it. It's a pity that you have only just risen in this world. At this moment, divine venerable Dijon had already arrived in the galaxy. As the cold wind blew, he looked at Su Fong with a smile in his eyes. I can give you a choice now. Submit to me, and I will make you the master of a continent. You will enjoy supreme power for all eternity and become the emperor of a cultivation world. Are you more powerful than an immortal? You should know better than me how powerful Seven-Star Child is. Even he can't do anything to me. Moreover, if we want to submit, we won't choose you, but an immortal. In the face of divine venerable Dijon's hospitality, Su Fong coldly slapped him in the face. Since you don't know what's good for you, I can only suppress you and take your corpse into the great world. I will go to the immortal AO great world and infiltrate senior Seven-Star Child's subordinates. I overestimated you. You are an expert, but you don't want to test yourself. Instead, you want to rely on others to survive. That's because you don't know how vast the great world is, how insignificant humans are, and how powerful the demonic beasts, demons, and immortals there are. A cultivator like you who has cultivated for hundreds of years naturally doesn't know. Since you don't want to be my friend, you are my enemy. Divine Venerable Dijon displayed the supreme aura of a giant. In an instant, a halberd appeared in his hand. He pounced toward Su Fong in the air, his speed getting faster and faster. What a great halberd! It's actually close to the Xian Wang Six Paths Pagoda. There are countless Dharma treasures in the great world, but there are only a few treasures that can reach the Xian Wang Six Paths Pagoda. Su Fong instantly activated the Xian Wang Six Paths Pagoda. His natal divine power exploded in his body and the flesh fetus divine armor. 10,000 meters 1,000 meters 100 meters Suddenly, the two experts' auras were like rainbows, setting off stormy waves in the galaxy. Divine Venerable Dijon activated the 10-foot-long halberd. The halberd was special. It was like a staff with three triangular human faces on three sides. There was a strange stone in the middle that was formed by black, white, and red. God-faced halberd of three ghosts, go! He waved the halberd and the strange stone immediately emitted a dazzling and strange light. Hoo! Dozens of meters as the god-faced halberd of three ghosts slashed through the galaxy, countless halberd Dharma treasures 100 feet in the air pressed towards Su Fong like a tsunami. The small meteorites and the cold wind were all pressed into powder by the halberd Dharma treasure's divine power. He's indeed a realm lord. Such terrifying power! Su Fong felt that he couldn't resist or run anymore. It was impossible to defend against it. The attack from the Earth Truth Heavenly Venerate combined the power of the world, divine might, and Dharma treasures into one. Such power could definitely create a huge hole in a small world. It was more than enough to destroy a continent. Natal divine power. He didn't want to run away, and he couldn't do so now. He could only fight. Neither he nor divine Venerable Dijon could retreat. Whoever retreated would be the loser. A 6-story pagoda suddenly appeared around Su Fong's body, and it was gold and silver. Was he still human? It felt like he was an artifact spirit formed by a 6-story pagoda. Sword moves the galaxy. With the help of his natal Dharma treasure and his perfected body, Su Fang's power had reached the level of a flying celestial with 2 heavenly calamities. He also activated the Starry Daylight Sword and combined the power of the world with the ethereal True Explanation. A star-like sword river suddenly appeared in front of him. Boom! Boom! In an instant, the starry sword river and the divine power of the god-faced halberd of 3 ghosts clashed together. The wind surged and the sword light and the halberd destroyed everything. This wasn't just a battle between Dharma treasures. It was also a battle between Su Fang and divine Venerable Dijin's world power and supreme cultivation arts. In front of countless cultivators, the central galaxy where the 2 of them were at turned into a cluster of dazzling, destructive brilliance that looked like fireworks. Even the galaxy was shaken. Many of the meteoroids at the periphery were minced like spinning top. They spun and shattered on their own. So powerful! I didn't expect a cultivator who has only cultivated for a few hundred years to have the power of a realm lord. Yeah, I really didn't expect this. This scene was also witnessed by the hundreds of thousands of experts floating above the barrier. They witnessed the power of a realm lord and how shocking Su Fang was. They also knew their limits. In this galaxy, it was impossible for them to unleash such a large-scale attack without being shackled by the galaxy. After a series of explosions, most of the power was restrained by the galaxy. Divine Venerable Dijin, who was holding the god-faced halberd of 3 ghosts, approached Su Fang. "You're very strong. I finally understand why immortals can't catch you when they come down. You're still alive under the eyes of so many immortals in the Zhuotian world. It's not luck, it's strength. If I'm not strong enough, how can I challenge you and take your Wu-Tan world?" Su Fang was still surrounded by the 6-story Xian Guang. Together with the Starry Daylight Sword, his aura was replaced by the divine power of the Dharma treasure. Clearly, he didn't give people the impression that he was strong. Only the Dharma treasure was strong. A natal Dharma treasure and a royal-grade Dharma treasure as your natal Dharma treasure. You are indeed qualified to fight with me. But how many attacks can you take? I, a realm lord, have comprehended the power of a world and cultivated for more than 10,000 years. Whoosh! Divine Venerable Dijin roared and waved the god-faced halberd of 3 ghosts in his hand. In a breath, he unleashed an attack that was more than 1,000 feet long. "Young commander, use your Dharma power." After glancing at it, Su Fang realized that the power of Divine Venerable Dijin's attack had reached the limit of 3 calamities, and his own strength was only at the level of 2 calamities. This was already close to his limit. But he still had his strongest trump card that he hadn't used yet. The power of more than 10,000 Big Goblin. In an instant, the 6-story pagoda that wrapped around his body burned with a shocking demonic qi. Su Fang's true qi also burned. He was a flaming giant. He secretly activated his extraordinary divine power and used the power of a world. Illusory fire cloud, sword moving long river. The Starry Daylight Sword drew a perfect and sharp arc. Another wave of sword qi appeared above him and formed a long river of sword qi. It buzzed and welcomed the attack of the large halberd Dharma treasure. Under the shocking attacks of both sides, there was a dazzling and deafening collision, forming a large area of the Star River that exploded. Su Fang and Divine Venerable Dijin were forced to retreat. From afar, the cold Star River suddenly had a dazzling flame rising into the sky. "Master!" Not far away in the Star River, the thousands of experts from the spiritual mist world were still hibernating with Yu Yingying. At this moment, Yu Yingying released an illusory intent. The intent formed the illusory image of the 6 lords of fertility. Even the illusory image could see the surprise in his eyes. Good. This is the strength that Su Fang should have. Without this strength, how could he merge with the immortals and create such a bloody storm in a small world? Even among the small world lords, his strength has reached the middle level. He's comparable to Divine Venerable Dijin. Chapter 806. I really didn't expect that. Not only are his subordinates and the big goblin so strong, even he has such strength. Yu Yingying was shocked. How did this person reach such strength in just a few hundred years? Even the best geniuses in the past needed 1,000 years to cultivate. It's hard to say. In short, although Su Fang isn't a true sector lord, his strength is at the same level as one. The 6 lords of fertility seemed to be able to see the difference between Su Fang and Dijin Divine Sovereign. Another dazzling explosion erupted from the Milky Way. No matter if it was a great demon or a cultivator, they were all attracted by the light at this moment. The momentum caused by a large amount of destructive power had begun to affect a large part of the galaxy around the Wu-Tan realm. Dijin Divine Sovereign controlled the 3 ghosts' god-faced halberd. From the start until now, the gem had been released, allowing him to attack the Star River again and again. However, after half a day of fighting, Dijin Divine Sovereign's face was covered in cold sweat. His breathing became heavier. I've used up a lot of my qi. I've cultivated for tens of thousands of years, and I'm already so tired. He can't last much longer. I didn't expect Su Fang's control of world power to reach such a level in the Star River. I thought I could heavily injure him in less than 3 moves, but now, the 2 forces in front of him clashed, forming a large area of destructive star scars. It was as if 10,000 horses were galloping, surging mightily. Any meteorite it encountered would be instantly crushed into fine powder, causing rings of starry waves to form outside the river of stars and extend outwards. Life treasure, I haven't even cultivated the 3 ghosts' god-faced halberd to such a level. How can this kid have such a life treasure in just a few hundred years? There must be an expert supporting him. I don't believe there's such a powerful genius in this world. No, he's a monster even more terrifying than the big goblin. Since your sacred art is so high, I wonder how strong your speed, physical body, yang soul, etc. are. Dijin Divine Sovereign showed his experienced methods, not giving Su Fang a chance to breathe. Just as his previous attack weakened, he attacked again. A large number of big halberd magical weapons' godly power seemed to be able to penetrate the mountains and cross the seas, attacking Su Fang's Star River. The Star River was shaken again. They were even worried that the Milky Way would shatter because of this, creating a black hole that all living beings feared. As soon as the attack exploded, the other side of the Su Fang also set off a huge wave of sword qi. Lord Dijin suddenly teleported and disappeared in the aura of the galaxy. If the enemy doesn't move, I won't move. How would he know? On the other side, Su Fang revealed a strange sneer. His lips curled up as he used his great perfection ability to see through everything around him. This person probably thinks that I haven't cultivated for long, so my Zhenqi is inferior to his. Naturally, his abilities are inferior to his as well. He's planning to slowly whittle away at my Zhenqi and wait until I'm completely exhausted before using his full strength to suppress me. Little did you know that I would do the exact opposite. I used your thoughts to tangle with you until now, causing your true qi to be greatly depleted. You can't wait any longer. You're in a hurry to use your full strength. Dijin Holy Sovereign, you're going to use your full strength, right? Then I'll give you more power and help you. I want you to know that you can't deal with me without using your full strength. It turned out that the great perfection ability had already seen through all of Lord Dijin Holy Sovereign's actions. It could be said that no movement under his nose could escape his eyes. Su Fang took advantage of the turbulence in the aura and used the limitless Tao art. He fused the Tao of illusion with the Tao of reality and turned into a star. A lifeless energy clone shuttled through the turbulent aura in front of him. Originally, he could use the Starry Daylight Sword to give Lord Dijin Holy Sovereign, who was still careless and in control of himself, a chance to launch a sneak attack and severely injure him. However, He didn't use the true ability of the Starry Daylight Sword. Its ability was assassination. From the beginning until now, Su Fang had only used the Starry Daylight Sword as an ordinary Dharma treasure. Once the final ability was used, he was confident that he could assassinate Lord Dezhen, Holy Sovereign, with this treasure. Su Fang's attack will severely injure you. The two forces were in the middle of the galaxy. Flames, sword auras, halberds, and other destructive powers were exploding. A shocking figure was hidden within the surging aura. Lord Dezhen, Holy Sovereign, was less than 100 meters away from Su Fang. He cleverly used his skills, speed, and offensive aura to hide himself. From there, he could launch a sneak attack on Su Fang. Just as he was about to use the godly-faced halberd of three ghosts to fuse with other Dharma treasures and unleash a shocking attack, he didn't expect the aura to explode from the side. A palm print attacked from the right along with the destructive aura. Boom! Lord Dezhen, Holy Sovereign, was shocked. As expected of a sector lord, he was able to sense the subtle changes in the aura in time. He turned around and used the godly-faced halberd of three ghosts to block the palm print. The palm print's power made him unable to hide. He revealed his true body and was forced back by the aura. A sword chi swiftly pierced through the air toward him. I've really underestimated you. Clang. Su Fang took the opportunity to attack. Lord Dezhen, Holy Sovereign, shouted and used the godly-faced halberd of three ghosts to stab at the sword chi. The two metal auras violently clashed. Whoosh! Immediately, Lord Dezhen, Holy Sovereign, left behind an afterimage and teleported behind Su Fang. He punched at the back of Su Fang's head. He thought that his speed could truly surpass Su Fang, but he didn't expect that even after using Wuji Doppelganger and sending out a few doppelgangers, Su Fang, who was targeted by Lord Dezhen, Holy Sovereign, was still destroyed with one punch. Dead. No. Lord Dezhen, Holy Sovereign, didn't feel excited or relaxed. Instead, he took a deep breath and continued to use his palm techniques, killing Su Fang around him one by one. Augmentation. More and more Su Fang appeared around Lord Dezhen, Holy Sovereign. It allowed him to destroy one doppelganger and create another one. Every doppelganger, be it divine skills, dharma powers, or imprints, they all required a large amount of true chi. Normally speaking, if Lord Dezhen, Holy Sovereign, destroyed one doppelganger, he would have used up a large amount of true chi from Su Fang. But the truth was different. Su Fang, who was hiding in one of the doppelgangers, was using the power of the world to fuse with the Tao of myriad arts. The doppelganger's Wuji Doppelganger was supported by the power of the Milky Way, causing half of its power to come from the stars. That was the power of the Tao of myriad arts. Furthermore, the true enlightenment of Misty came from the mysterious Misty Taoist in the greater world. It was an energy art from the greater world, an immortal Tao technique. Boom, boom, boom. The Wuji doppelgangers seemed to be puppets. They didn't move at all, and under Lord Dezhen, Holy Sovereign's attacks, one doppelganger after another was destroyed. Su Fang's power is shocking, Lord Dezhen, Holy Sovereign, snorted. I get the feeling that he has control over the Milky Way like an immortal. But these doppelgangers can't be that strong. They can't attack, and they don't have the ability to move. In this minor world, cultivators from the mortal world can only create a few doppelgangers. After 1,000 years of cultivation, they can unleash some offensive power. Su Fang can create doppelgangers with shocking speed, but there's no way he can use them to attack. It's a waste of true energy. The biggest advantage of doppelganger divine abilities isn't in attacking, but rather in hiding Su Fang's true self. It seems he's hiding in one of the doppelgangers, preparing a killing move. Surrounded by Su Fang's doppelgangers, Lord Dezhen, Holy Sovereign, pushed his speed, movement techniques, and fleshly body power to the pinnacle. He continued to crush one doppelganger after another. The true enlightenment of Misty really is wondrous. Using the Tao of myriad arts here in the Milky Way can strengthen my divine abilities. Not only can I not be shackled by the stars, I can even use their power. Not only was Su Fong hiding in one of the doppelgangers, but he was also preparing to unleash a real attack. Smiling confidently, he once again used the true enlightenment of Misty, changing his hand seals for the next doppelganger. Boom! Lord Dijun Holy Sovereign's speed was indeed terrifying. With his teleportation speed, his punches were able to crush several doppelgangers at the same time. Seeing more than a dozen doppelgangers surrounding him, Lord Dijun Holy Sovereign also appeared on the spot and threw out more than a dozen punches. The punches instantly engulfed all of Su Fong's doppelgangers. But, bang! Just as each doppelganger was about to shatter under the attacks of the punches, the eyes of each doppelganger suddenly burst out with a beast-like Yuan spirit divine might. Not good. Lord Dijun Holy Sovereign thought that these doppelgangers would all shatter under his attacks, and even Su Fong's true self, who was hiding among them, would be heavily injured. But who knew that when he felt the Yuan spirit divine might released by the doppelgangers, he would be shocked. These Yuan spirit divine might seem to be just divine might. However, if one were to take a closer look, the divine might was actually countless flying swords that were capable of leaping across the sky to kill, containing a dozen or so primordial spirit sword star storms that were surging over. What Saint Venerable Dijun saw was the sword star storm. The wind and clouds surged and wanted to swallow him up. Why is there such a terrifying young soul? When he sensed all of this, his body seemed to have turned into ice, and his divine acupoints immediately exploded. Countless Yuan spirits surged out and formed a large amount of divine might around his head. The divine might was the defense formed by the Yuan spirit. Squeak! His teeth were chattering uncontrollably. Boom! Boom! More than a dozen Yuan spirit sword stars bombarded the newly formed Yuan spirit defense. At this moment, no one could see that the two of them were fighting. Su Fong and Lord Dijun Holy Sovereign were both in a state where their Yuan spirits were almost burning. No one could tell that the two of them were fighting to the death. In fact, under the confrontation of the divine might, Lord Dijun Holy Sovereign was probably experiencing the first time in his life. What he could see and feel were the Yuan spirit sword stars that were fierce and domineering. At this moment, he thought that it was just an ordinary attack, but he was wrong. The Yuan spirit sword star storms were powerful. Not only were there many of them, but they were also tough and fierce. They destroyed his Yuan spirit defense layer by layer. That's my Yin-Yang Rakshasa sword. It's not the kind of explosive attack that ordinary Yuan spirits have. It's a supreme Yuan spirit divine ability. After shattering the clones that were attacked by the fist shadows, a large number of clones formed behind them. Su Fong's real body was hiding among them. He watched everything calmly. It seemed that when he used his Yuan spirit divine power in the clones and planted the Yin-Yang Rakshasa sword in them, he used the memories that he subconsciously passed to Lord Dijun Holy Sovereign. He felt that the clones would not be able to attack, and even if they were, they would not be able to threaten him. But he was wrong. This time, it was the Yin-Yang Rakshasa sword. Whoosh! Lord Dijun Holy Sovereign's divine power started to collapse, and his aura was also weakening. It turned out that the Yin-Yang Rakshasa sword had destroyed his Yuan spirit, and a part of it had entered his brain. It was probably damaging his divine aperture, causing his young infant to be severely injured. Die! Seeing this, Su Fong suddenly controlled his clones and used them to cover him. They all grabbed sword chi and slashed toward Lord Dijun Holy Sovereign. Lord Dijun Holy Sovereign, who seemed to be unable to fight back, suddenly opened his mouth and spat. He trembled and almost fainted. However, he still crushed a seal. Big Dipper Talisman! Not good. He hid among the clones and was about to cut off Lord Dijun Holy Sovereign's head. But the talisman he released suddenly shattered. An immortal aura that definitely did not belong to a small world and came from a great world exploded with Lord Dezhen, Holy Sovereign, as the center. Chapter 807. This burst of immortal light was released from the rune. It was like a giant demon in a state of hunger that wanted to bite this galaxy to pieces. Su Fang exclaimed. His clones were all shattered, burned and turned into dust under the light. The power of his natal Dharma treasure merged with the flesh fetus divine armor and a part of the Tao artifact to form a defense. But before the defense was completed, Su Fang, who was in the Xian Guang state of the Six Paths Pagoda, was also destroyed by the light from the rune as his clones were destroyed. It instantly devoured him. Poof! At the center of the light. Sacred Lord Dezhen summoned this rune at the last moment. Its power didn't belong to a small world, and it could probably kill Su Fang. But as soon as he smiled, he took a few steps back and spat out blood. The divine power around his mind also disappeared. Sacred Lord Dezhen touched the blood and panted. He felt that there was a giant rock on his body. Why is his young soul so powerful? I thought he had reached the peak in terms of speed and divine powers. It's impossible for him to have a powerful young soul after hundreds of years of cultivation. I didn't expect his essence soul to be so powerful. It almost broke my divine aperture. Buzz buzz. The power of the rune covered dozens of miles of the galaxy. Everything inside seemed to have evaporated. There were no particles at all. A figure covered in blood mist was struggling in the midst of the broken defense. It was Su Fang, who was hit by the rune power. Another deity rune from a great world. If I still had the power I had when I fought with the third prince, I would have lost all my abilities even if I didn't die. There were many lacerations on his body, but at this moment, the blood vessels that were growing out of the lacerations were beginning to weave together, and the wounds were healing. He's not dead. The hundreds of thousands of cultivators from the Wu-Tan field all knew that Sacred Lord Dezhen used the power of a great world's deity and thought he could kill Su Fang easily. Unexpectedly, Su Fang was still alive in the galaxy, which shocked countless cultivators. Even the masters under Sacred Lord Dezhen were in disbelief. Heavenly Sovereign Dezhen, who was in the same mood, was staring at Su Fang's every move. He was the only cultivator in this part of the Starry River who could clearly see the changes that had taken place in Su Fang's body. What kind of physical body is this? You're actually injured so deeply that your bones are visible. If it weren't for your physical body, you wouldn't have survived. Do you know why Seven-Star Child came to the lower realm alone to find me? Su Fang also used his Jin Qi, and the six-story Xian Guang rose up again, fusing with his body. He coldly replied, "It is because of the Black Lotus true body. When I was on the Seven Stars Demon Island, I seized Seven Stars Child's second doppelganger. This is the reason why he came to the lower realm. The power left behind by an immortal is indeed a good thing, and you, Heavenly Sovereign Dezhen, think that you can kill me with an immortal talisman. You are very wrong. Don't be smug." Dezhen's sacred venerable was quite tired. Su Fang formed a hand seal in the air and flew over. "Your primordial spirit has been severely injured by me. We were on par before, but now you are no match for me. Doppelganger." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. More than a dozen doppelganger appeared with sword chi, approaching the Sector Lord like peerless masters. Heavenly Sovereign Dezhen suddenly put his hands together and a Xian Guang, a Tao artifact, wrapped around him. Qilin armor. A red glow enveloped him, and a dark red armor that looked like it was made of countless gems appeared on his body. The armor wasn't a normal defensive Dharma treasure. It was a Tao artifact. The armor was made of many pig blood gems, and there were many deity patterns on it. One could see the totem of the legendary divine beast Qilin. Of course, this had nothing to do with the divine beast Qilin. It was just a Tao artifact named after the divine beast Qilin. Sizzle, sizzle, more than a dozen avatars charged over at this moment. However, just as they were 100 feet away from Heavenly Truth Sovereign's arms trembled. The Qilin Larch armor exploded with a blood-red Tao artifact's divine might, causing the avatars to instantly turn into dust. They collapsed in the galaxy and scattered. The Sector Lord is too powerful. He's already strong and now he has an extraordinary Tao artifact. Su Fang's original body immediately retreated. Even though Dijin's Sacred Venerable's primordial spirit was severely injured, he still chased after Su Fang with the Qilin armor. At this moment, Su Fang was also comparing the difference between him and Dijin's Sacred Venerable. Let me use my Tao artifact too and then find a chance to kill him. Small Universe Saint Pot. When Su Fang saw the blood-red Tao treasure closing in on him with the teleportation speed of Dijin Heavenly Venerate, it formed a large area that was about to devour him. Su Fang immediately activated his Tao treasure. Small Universe Saint Pot. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the next moment, a large number of immortal runes condensed on Su Fang's body. The Tao artifact's power rose. You also have a Tao artifact. Dijin's Sacred Venerable was very surprised. What's with your expression? Could it be that only a Sector Lord like you has the right to have a Tao artifact? Others? So what if you have a Tao artifact? I don't believe that you, a cultivator who has cultivated for hundreds of years, can fuse with a Tao artifact. You'll know when you try. Three Ghosts God-faced halberd. This really angered Dijin's Sacred Venerable. He once again took out his strange Dharma treasure, the Three Ghosts God-faced halberd. Next, he began to fuse with the Tao artifact. After the aura of the Three Ghosts God-faced halberd fused with the Tao artifact, the halberd's power exploded. This time, it wasn't the light of a king-grade Dharma treasure but a Tao artifact's power. The galaxy between the two was covered by the blood-red Tao artifact's power. Sword moves the galaxy. Immediately, under the power of the Small Universe Saint Pot, Su Fang's Tao artifact's power appeared around him. Many Saint Pot totems appeared and grabbed onto the Starry Daylight sword. A large area of burning Tao artifacts, sword chi turned into a river of sword chi in the galaxy. It was on par with the blood-red Tao artifact's power. Seeing such a shocking sword chi attack, Dijin's Sacred Venerable's eyeballs almost fell out. He rubbed his eyes and said, "You're not my match." It turned out that when he saw the Tao artifact's power, he realized that Su Fang's Tao artifact's power had surpassed his. With tens of thousands of years of cultivation and the subconscious of a dominator, he didn't believe that a normal cultivator could be on the same level as a Sector Lord like him. Boom, 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 it didn't matter if he believed it or not. The sword chi and the blood-red Tao artifact's power clashed with each other in the galaxy, just like when the two of them were fighting before. The explosion and light created now were more than 10 times stronger than when the two of them were fighting before. The power released was enough to kill 2 Calamity Realm Masters at the Flying Celestial Realm. Kill, kill, kill! Dijin's Sacred Venerable, who had almost lost his mind, kept using the Qilin armor's power to activate the godly-faced halberd of Three Ghosts. He released waves after waves of halberd Tao artifact attack. They were like huge waves. The waves behind hit the waves in front and crashed against the power of the sword Qi Tao artifact. Seeing that Su Fang's attack was about to be swallowed by the destructive power, he also activated the Small Universe Divine Pot with all his power. The Tao artifact's power was endless. Together with the Way of the Void and the power of the world, more and more sword Qi Tao artifact rivers appeared from the galaxy. The battle had reached the most intense stage. The galaxy where the two of them were was completely in the light of the explosion of the Tao artifact. It even affected the Wu-Tan field, affecting the energy of countless cultivators. Deep in the galaxy, in front of thousands of spiritual mist field experts, The 6 lords of fertility could not help but sigh. No matter who wins or loses this battle, Su Fang's name will truly resound in this galaxy. The small worlds everywhere will know that a new giant is rising. His light is brighter than a comet. Yu Yingying was still in shock. Su Fang's power is indeed heaven-defying. To be able to release such an attack and fight Dijin Sacred Venerable to this extent, Su Fang's power is too monstrous. This person's power is actually not as strong as Dijin Sacred Venerable. At most, he'll be at the Flying Celestial Realm with 2 Calamity Realm Masters. However, he has the ability to make up for this. His control of the galaxy is better than Dijin Sacred Venerable's. Even I and the Tao artifact made his overall power reach such a level. I firmly believe that the Wu-Tan field will belong to Su Fang now. It must be so. Dijin Sacred Venerable has been severely injured. The longer this drags on, the more serious the impact on his Tao heart will be. The 6 lords of fertility seemed to have seen the outcome. Hundreds of exchanges. It caused the galaxy to become a 10,000-mile zone of destruction. This was not inside the small world, but outside the galaxy. Suddenly, the Earth Truth Heavenly Sovereign's voice rang out like thunder. Listen to my orders, kill this child. Suddenly, a person with a Tao artifact flew towards the Wu-Tan field from the edge of the explosion. Whoosh, 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 it was Dijin Sacred Venerable. His Tao artifact's light was less than 1/3 of before. As he flew away, the thousands of experts waiting in the galaxy finally released their auras and flew towards the galaxy. Another person quickly appeared with a destructive aura. Su Fang roared in the sky. Dijin Sacred Venerable, you're running away without a fight? From now on, the Wu-Tan field will change its name to E. It will belong to Su Fang. I'm not going to fight with you today. Dijin Sacred Venerable chose to run away decisively. Not only did he run away, but he also asked the thousands of experts to form an array to deal with Su Fang together. Despicable! Do you think I will let you hurt my brother like this? When Dijin Sacred Venerable and the thousands of experts gathered, he hid in the center and ordered the experts around him to form seals. An offensive array began to form. At this moment, a white figure flew down from above. It turned out to be Bai Ling, who was enraged. She looked weak, but she flew straight towards the thousands of experts. Die. The array's attack was almost complete. As Dijin Sacred Venerable sneered, a Xian Guang from the array turned into a sword light and pierced towards Bai Ling from the galaxy. Treasure Circle. Bai Ling opened her right hand, and a dark gray circle suddenly appeared in her palm. It looked like a ring, but it suddenly flew out from her palm and flew towards the array's huge sword. The circle became 3 feet wide. Its aura was not strong, but when it collided with the huge array's sword chi, it smashed the array's sword chi into dust and collapsed. Bang! The circle then headed towards the array that was protecting thousands of people. Whoosh! The array unleashed a strong defensive Xian Guang. Boom! However, the circle that did not seem strong, when it collided with the array, it shattered like the array's huge sword. The circle then went into the thousands of people. As it spun quickly, it met a flying celestial realm calamity realm giant. Boom! Without wasting any aura, the circle hit the cultivator in the blink of an eye, and he was also turned into dust. The circle then met a second giant, and the result was the same. In a breath's time, the cultivator was turned into a mist of blood. They were like weak sand that could not withstand the wind, and they collapsed with one hit. Chapter 808. Supreme One. First, the circle broke through the formation formed by thousands of powerful cultivators. Then, it charged into the powerful cultivators' camp fearlessly. More than that, the flying celestial realm cultivators were dying under the circle. Many of the powerful cultivators looked at Lord Dijin for help. Lord Dijin did not expect a little girl to have such an artifact. he ordered the powerful cultivators to take out their artifacts to stop the circle. Rise! The powerful cultivators all took out their artifact. All kinds of artifacts let out a deafening sound. One after another, flying swords flew towards the circle. Boom! However, when the flying sword touched the circle, it only took one hit to cause the powerful flying sword to shatter just like the cultivators before it. The flying swords and other artifacts that came from behind also clashed with the circle. Boom! 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 Wherever the circle went, no artifact could withstand it. As soon as the artifact touched the circle, it shattered and turned into dust. Ah! Hundreds of artifacts were destroyed by the circle in a very short time. The other artifacts also had primordial spirit. When they felt the horrifying power of the circle, they did not dare to get close to it. Bai Ling, who was floating in the air, moved her finger slightly. The circle flew toward the powerful cultivators, scaring them into retreating. Some of them could not dodge in time and used their skills to attack the circle. But their skills could not stop it. A circle was shattered and the cultivator died under the circle. The circle spun faster and flew past two powerful cultivators of the flying celestial realm, turning them into a mist of blood. All of you, listen up. Only death awaits you if you follow Saint Venerable Dijin. If you submit immediately, this fairy will let you live. At this time, Bai Ling shouted coldly, "If you still want to follow Lord Dijin, then I will have to kill you all." Supreme One. She ignored the powerful cultivators. Ignorant Junior, I will take care of you. Whoosh! Whoosh! Finally, Lord Dijin made his move. He released the Qilin armor again and unleashed the horrifying power of a doctrine artifact to protect Lord Dijin. He jumped up and took out the godly-faced halberd of three ghosts. Controlling the doctrine artifact's power, he attacked with a dazzling doctrine artifact halberd. Slap! The doctrine artifact's power hit the circle. The circle did not move at all. Instead, the doctrine artifact's power shattered. Kacha, Heavenly Venerate Dijin, felt that his attack had hit an infinitely deep galaxy. The power disappeared, or it was forcefully blocked by the circle. But at this moment, the deity-faced halberd of three demons in his hand suddenly cracked. From the gem to the bottom, it shattered into pieces. Puff the Tao artifact's power was suddenly counterattacked by the circle. Just a slight ripple was enough to flip Dijin Divine Venerable over. This sector lord spat out blood in midair. Bai Ling ignored Sacred Venerable Dijin and looked at the thousands of stunned cultivators below. Those who follow my wishes will live. Kill. He flicked his finger. The circle seemed to be under the control of a law. It suddenly shook and spun into the expert's suppression. Boom! Boom! Wherever they went, the origin cultivators from the Wu-Tan realm, as well as some old antiques, used all kinds of defenses, divine abilities, and magic treasures. To them, magic treasures were like watermelons. No. It was not even a watermelon. At most, it was an egg. The circle easily knocked over the experts like a row of eggs. Killing more than a dozen magnates in an instant. Don't kill me, I'll beg for mercy, I'll beg for mercy. The circle swept towards another group of experts. Unexpectedly, only now did these experts know how powerful the circle was. They all quickly knelt down. Only then did Dijin Divine Venerable stabilize his body. The Qilin Arch armor had lost its Tao artifact's power and he was covered in blood. Seeing the experts under him give up resisting, he was furious. Kill them! There were experts who resisted Dijin Divine Venerable. We don't want to die. You're not his match. If you let us go, we'll die for you. But there were still some people who immediately released their magic treasures and all their power. They turned into rays of light and charged towards the circle. In the end, the circle only flashed quickly, and those experts instantly wailed and screamed like pigs being slaughtered. There was a mist of blood everywhere. Who would have thought? a realm lord, as well as so many origin source experts of our Wu-Tan realm, is not a match for Su Fong and the others. Luckily, we didn't follow Dijin Divine Venerable and attack Su Fong. Otherwise, we would have been massacred and our dojo might have been destroyed too. Everything that happened to Dijin Divine Venerable and his experts was seen by the hundreds of thousands of experts behind. They still didn't believe it, but seeing it with their own eyes, they had to believe it. Who didn't suffer a huge impact? Dijin Divine Venerable, don't think you can do anything just because you have a Tao artifact. Watch how I deal with you. Under countless gazes, Bai Ling controlled the circle and stood on top of it, flying towards Dijin Divine Venerable. Damn it! Who knew? Dijin Divine Venerable first activated a Tao artifact's divine light, then suddenly shot out a Xian Guang. Qi. A power that didn't belong to a small world passed through the Tao artifact's attack. It turned out to be a solidified Great World's power. Boom. This power came suddenly and hit Bai Ling and the circle. Luckily, the circle released an aura in time to protect Bai Ling. Then, the Tao artifact's power also hit and covered Bai Ling, but the aura released by the circle was not affected at all. Whoosh! Seeing this, Dijin Divine Venerable thought that his last trump card, the power from the Great World, could kill Bai Ling. Who knew that Bai Ling was fine? He quickly turned around and ran towards the Wu-Tan field as fast as he could. Whoosh! In the blink of an eye, an aurora shadow appeared beside the Earth Truth Sacred Venerate and struck the Earth Truth Sacred Venerate's neck soundlessly. Blood spurted out as the starry daylight sword cut into half of Dijin Divine Venerable's neck. As expected of the Divine Venerable Realm Lord who had a Tao artifact, he was also very powerful. He was able to stop the starry daylight sword before his neck was cut off. This was the first time Su Fong had encountered such a situation since he used the starry daylight sword to kill people. But even so, before he could cut off Dijin Sovereign's neck and take off his head, he still lost his balance and knelt down. Blood spurted out from his wounds and splattered everywhere. No, I, Dijin Divine Venerable, have just achieved my goal and become a realm lord. I don't want to die like this. I want to truly merge with the Wu-Tan field and become a part of my flesh. No. Dijin Divine Venerable let out a cry of despair in the lonely Star River. His voice also spread across the Star River around the Wu-Tan field. Dijin Divine Venerable and the other experts who had surrendered. The hundreds of thousands of experts floating above the Wu-Tan field. And the experts of the Wu-Tan field who were fighting with the Big Goblin and other experts. Suddenly, at this moment, they all trembled. The cold air and fear made their hair stand on end. Because the despair from the Supreme Realm Lord also made them feel endless despair. Success, Master. I didn't expect Su Fong to be able to kill the Wu-Tan field lord so quickly. On the other side of the Star River, the thousands of experts in the Spirit Mist field naturally heard Dijin Divine Venerable's helpless groan. Yu Yingying looked at the 6 lords excitedly. The 6 lords said, "Among the realm lords, Dijin Divine Venerable is only a middle-level expert. But he is still a realm lord. It's not worth it for him to die in the hands of a cultivator who has only cultivated for a few hundred years. If it was anyone else, they would also be unwilling. It's fate." After the Wu-Tan field lord fell, it was Dijin Divine Venerable's turn. He is not as strong as the former Wu-Tan field lord. That Wu-Tan field lord has cultivated for a few 100,000 years. He is not as strong as Zhuotian field lord, but he is still of very high existence among the realm lords. And this Dijin Divine Venerable is indeed a bit unlucky. He just got the Wu-Tan field and met a terrifying opponent like Su Fong. Master also feels that Su Fong is terrifying. Of course he is. Look at that little girl's Tao artifact. Even in our Spirit Mist field, there is no power that can deal with it. And that terrifying turtle demon. Even I find it hard to suppress it. Adding those heaven-defying big goblin with Tao artifacts, Su Fang's overall strength has reached the level of a small world. The 6 lords of fertility praised Su Fang. This was something Yu Yingying had never seen before. At this moment, the Star River regained its peace. The fighting in the Wu Tan Fields world barrier also stopped. The big goblin, as well as the Wu Tan Fields experts, were all paying attention to the Star River ahead. The hundreds of thousands of Wu Tan Fields cultivation forces were also silent. As for the thousands of experts under Dijin Divine Venerable, let alone Su Fang, just by Ling alone was enough to kill them all in a few days. Only now did they realize that the little girl above looked weak, but her killing intent was even more terrifying than a demon's. Within the Star River, Su Fang walked towards Dijin Divine Venerable. Don't struggle. Your Yuan spirit and true Qi have all been used up. You can't move my Dharma treasure. Dijin Divine Venerable was currently trying his best to force the Starlight Sword out of his neck. But he still didn't gain anything. He couldn't use a Tao artifact, and the Starlight Sword itself was a peerless treasure. Su Fang, you stole what belongs to me. I, Dijin Divine Venerable, won't let you go even if I become a ghost. Dijin Divine Venerable heard the voice and struggled to raise his head to see Su Fang looking down at him. When had he ever been the only one in this Star River who could look down on any cultivator like that? Don't say such useless words. Dijin Divine Venerable, I have to kill you. There's only one Realm Lord in the Wu Tan Field, but it's not you. There's only one Realm Lord in the Wu Tan Field. That's me, Su Fang. Su Fang. Poof! It seemed like Saint Venerable Dijin still wanted to struggle. He looked like he wanted to eat Su Fang. But in the next second, the starry daylight sword that had cut into his neck suddenly unleashed a blinding white light, cutting off the last bit of flesh in an instant. Dijin Divine Venerable's head flew up along with the blood. He turned to look at the Wu Tan realm and said, The Wu Tan realm lord, Dijin Sacred Sovereign, has already died at my hands. According to our agreement, only one of us can survive. Luckily, I'm lucky and I'm the victor. From now on, the Wu Tan realm lord is no longer Dijin Sacred Sovereign, but I, Su Fang. Whether you accept it or not, from now on, if anyone tries to stop me from entering the Wu Tan realm, they will end up the same as Dijin Sacred Sovereign. Don't blame me for being ruthless. Killing you is much easier than killing Dijin Sacred Sovereign. Master! 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 As soon as these words were spoken, the galaxy became even more deathly silent. However, Su Zhenhua, Qin Yuanho, Guangzhou Sage Monarch, Elder Heizun, Sky-Reaching Monster Venerable, Nine-Headed Monster King, Black Ridge Monster King, and the other Monster Kings all cheered. Chapter 809. The rest of them could only remain silent. The big goblin's aura surged, almost covering the entire Wu Tan domain. The undying tortoise's aura was most likely due to it being able to take down the Wu Tan domain so quickly. Su Fang tossed the Earth Truth Sacred Sovereign's head to the hundreds of thousands of cultivators and then sucked the corpse into his palm. He then appeared above Bai Ling looking down at the thousands of origin source cultivators. He said in an irresistible voice, Your sovereign has already died. I'll fight him fairly. Life and death are up to fate. Now I'll listen to you. Will you submit to me, or will you continue to be loyal to that dead person? We submit. The current Su Fang was even more majestic than a world in the eyes of the thousands of origin source experts. His majestic body seemed to be able to conquer the Milky Way. Adding on the fact that he had displayed strength above the Earth Truth Sacred Sovereign, it was like a brand that had been imprinted in their hearts. Even if they were unwilling, they just wanted to stay alive. Su Fang smiled. It's good that you submit. Next, I'll give you a mission. It's time for you to show your loyalty. If you perform well, I'll give you any resources in the Wu-Tan domain. I can guarantee that. Soon, Su Zhenhua, Li Haojie, First Elder He Zun, Qin Yuanho, Sacred Sovereign Guangzhou, and nearly 10,000 other experts, as well as the big goblin like the Vermilion Emperor, 9-segment Earth Dragon, and Demon Sovereign Tong Tian flew over. In front of everyone, Su Fang ordered, the Beichen Zone's Realm Lord also died in the fight for the Xianjia Gate. My mission is to cooperate with our experts and attack the Beichen Zone. We have several Dao items, and everyone is an expert. With you, we can at least surround the Beichen Zone. Can you do it? Yes. The thousands of experts from the Earth Truth Sacred Sovereign bowed and answered. Su Fang nodded at Li Haojie and said, Brother Li, lead everyone to the North Star Realm first. Since we're going to make a move, we might as well take advantage of this momentum and take down the North Star Realm as well. Brother Fang, don't worry. Even if we can't take down the Beichen Zone, we'll be able to trap it. We'll wait for you. Li Haojie was a straightforward person. Understanding Su Fang's thoughts, he immediately released a deafening tiger roar. Together with Su Zhenhua and the other experts, the Big Goblin, and the thousands of Wu-Tan Realm's origin experts, the two of them advanced towards the Beichen Zone near the Spirit Mist Realm. Whoosh! Bai Ling and Su Fang appeared at the top of the Wu-Tan Realm barrier in the blink of an eye. In front of more than 200,000 experts, he told them to wait while he released the Dao artifact's divine might and sucked the undying tortoise into his space. Then, he began to release the essence of the Wu-Tan realm in his body, fusing with the path of illusion and reality. The barrier of the Wu-Tan realm, which had many holes in it, rustled. It turned out that some subtle essence was rushing towards the barrier from the inside of the world, as well as the outer galaxy. How could this person be a cultivator who has cultivated for hundreds of years? What do you mean? In front of so many of us, he's openly repairing the barrier of the world by himself. This is a message to us. We know how powerful he is, and he's using his strength to intimidate the representatives of the Wu-Tan realm. What can we do? Su Fang is just a junior. I didn't expect him to be so powerful. Not to mention the current Earth Truth Sacred Master, even the old Realm Lord would have died if he met him today. Not only is he powerful, but the Big Goblin and experts under him all have Dao artifacts. Let's not make a move first. Let's see what he wants. If it's too much, there will naturally be people who will rush to stand out. Among the hundreds of thousands of experts, some of them were not simple. Their strength was also hidden. The number of people represented the number of ideas they had. And Su Fang's intention to publicly repair the barrier of the world was simple and clear. They were not fools. How could they not understand Su Fang's intention? Moreover, looking at those experts approaching the Beichen Zone, it also invisibly shocked the hearts and minds of these experts. Looking at the situation, Su Fang would soon become the master of the two small worlds. In this galaxy, how could there be an existence who could control two small worlds? After waiting for a while, the more than 200,000 cultivators did not dare to move. During this period of time, they watched in horror as Su Fang began to repair the huge barrier of the Wu-Tan realm on a large scale by himself. It turned out that Su Fang indeed controlled the astonishing power of the world of the Wu-Tan realm. His use of the power of the world had reached a shocking level. It was really unbelievable. In less than a month, the barrier of the Wu-Tan realm had been repaired. Su Fang turned around again and used his supreme divine power, leading hundreds of thousands of experts to enter the Wu-Tan realm. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Inside the barrier, a large number of cultivators suddenly rushed out. These were all Origin Realm cultivators, which were the experts of the giants under Earth Truth Sacred Master in the past. Only tens of thousands of people appeared and respectfully welcomed Su Fang into the world in the galaxy. After passing through the barrier and arriving in the sky, there were tens of thousands of people waiting. They were still Origin Realm cultivators, but most of them were in the Ascension Realm and Calamity Realm. Only a small number of them were in the Flying Immortal Realm. The rest were just watching the show. They came from the various territories and corners of the Wu-Tan realm. There were some cultivators and quite a few. Thousands of people began to fly away in a hurry. Su Fong glanced around. He had long been thinking about these cultivators. He released the supreme voice of the heavenly demon. Disciples of the Green Lotus Sword Sect, go back and inform your Green Lotus Sword Sect's master named Zimu Shilu. An agreement? Hu Lai, Qian Yuan, Hu Lai, Lai Qian Shu, Mao Shi, Xian Shuing, Yong Jiwei, Xian Shu, Chen, Wu Gu Man? Using such a terrifying primordial spirit divine power caused the divine apertures of the Green Lotus Sword Sect to be shocked. They fled even faster in panic. This scene was seen by countless cultivators. Some snickered, some laughed at the Green Lotus Sword Sect, and many cultivators were shocked by Su Fong's strength again. Especially when they saw Su Fong and Bai Ling, just two people, flying in the sky among countless cultivators of the Wu-Tan realm. From this momentum, one could see that they were determined to obtain the Wu-Tan realm. Green Lotus Sword Sect. There were hundreds of thousands of disciples gathered outside the Tao Right Temple. There were over 200,000 of them, and they were all core disciples at the Catastrophe Realm or above. They were all using an array formation. Zimu Shilu? An agreement with Hu Lai Qianji? Yu Qianji? The Emperor stealthily urgently paying wish also. The divine power of a Tao artifact was awakened from the depths of the Green Lotus Sword Sect. There were hundreds of thousands of disciples outside the dojo, and there were hundreds of thousands of ordinary disciples below the Catastrophe Realm inside the dojo. They were like ordinary mortals, and in this situation, they could do nothing. Unknowingly, many cultivators had come from all directions of the Green Lotus Sword Sect. There were too many to count. The array above the Green Lotus Sword Sect began to surge, and its momentum was very strong. It could be seen that the number one force of the Wu-Tan realm was indeed worthy of its reputation. Green Lotus Sword Sect, I saved your force, and you want to fight against my Su Fong? Suddenly, two figures slowly descended from the sky. It was Su Fong and Bai Ling. Seeing Su Fong, the morale of the entire Green Lotus Sword Sect was almost set ablaze again. Su Fong disagreed. The Green Lotus Sword Sect is indeed powerful, but it is my enemy. Don't you understand my request? I am not going to slaughter your sect, I am just going to make you disband. You still have a chance to live, but if you fight me, not only will this sect be destroyed, but it will also be turned into a mountain of corpses. I, Su Fong, am not a murderous devil. Since I want to control the Wu-Tan realm, I cannot tolerate the existence of enemies. The Green Lotus Sword Sect will definitely perish today. If you insist on being stubborn, even if blood flows into rivers, I will continue to slaughter. Could it be that my Green Lotus Sword Sect is afraid of you? The old man in the array formation who was helping Heavenly Venerate Dijin earlier? Sizzle? Is it true that the shearing coin, the Huan coin, and the bolting coin, is it true that the shearing coin, the Huan coin, and the bolting coin, is it true? Rechunpa neodymium chloride? Gee, stubborn. Su Fong was prepared to let the undying tortoise appear again. This time, he was going to let it start a massacre. To anyone, even a realm lord, it was easy to destroy the Green Lotus Sword Sect. Su Fong was the same. But if the undying tortoise was released, it would become a child's play. It was insignificant. Bai Ling suddenly frowned. Brother, do you remember what Sister Bai said before she came? All these years, you were the one who protected me and always rushed in front of me. Today, I will watch Sister Bai's performance. Su Fong asked with concern. Is it okay to continuously activate the Heavenly Neck Spirit Ring? I am worried that you used too much innate chi before. You still don't know. Once the Heavenly Neck Spirit Ring is activated with the power of chaos, it can be easily released. Moreover, this Tao artifact is not ordinary. As long as there is some power of chaos, it can be released at will. Don't worry, watch how I kill the Green Lotus Sword sect. With that, Bai Ling flew towards the Green Lotus Sword sect alone. Kill. The formation below suddenly exploded. Under the activation of the experts of the Green Lotus Sword sect, a wave of sword chi actually turned into an ocean. The sword chi whistled and whistled as it broke through the air, wanting to kill Bai Ling and Su Fang. What a terrifying power! Hundreds of thousands of experts fused with the power of the Tao field. The power of this attack had already reached the peak of 3 natural disasters. Even a realm lord would not be able to easily resist this move. Go! Bai Ling flicked her finger, and a circle flashed out from her palm. Heavenly Neck Spirit Ring. The magic treasure refined by the mysterious Chaos Sovereign King. Boom, boom, boom. When the circle collided with the sea of sword chi, it set off a destructive storm, as well as exploding flames. They thought that the sea of sword chi could resist the divine power of a Tao artifact. But in the next second, the circle only released a negligible aura. It was as if it had entered an unstoppable realm. From the center of the sea of sword chi, an explosion burst out, and the circle continued to attack the formation. I didn't expect Sister Bai to have such a fortuitous encounter. When she was shackled by the Heavenly General Spirit Ring, I always felt that it was a bad thing, but the heavens played a big joke on her. Above, Su Fang saw this scene and instantly lost a lot of her aura. Among the current Tao artifacts, the most powerful one is the Xianjia Gate, followed by the Yunshao Lightning Sword. The current strength of this Heavenly General Spirit Ring is considered the 3rd most powerful Tao artifact in this small world. Whoosh whoosh, seeing that the Heavenly General Spirit Ring was about to attack the formation, all the experts of the Green Lotus Sword sect used the formation as an attack, condensing giant swords and continuously slashing around the ring. Guardian Beast. The Green Lotus Sword sect took out a new method. From below the Tao field came a roar. The barrier of the Tao field began to shatter, and a door rose. There were actually 3 giant monsters inside the door. One was a spirit beast, and the other 2 were terrifying big goblin. Roar, roar, the 3 giant monsters rushed out of the door and violently roared into the sky. Under the control of the Green Lotus Sword sect's seal, they roared and attacked Bai Ling. Su Fang greedily transmitted, "Sister Bai, don't kill them. I want them to become my little commanders." The strength of these 3 big goblin is close to the sky-piercing venerable beast, the Wooling Goblin and the 9-headed Goblin King. Their strength is similar to the Brute Force Goblin King and the Purple Wind Goblin. Alright, but this Green Lotus Sword sect really has some tricks up their sleeves. The 3 guardian beasts combined with the Tao field's strength, their overall strength is close to that of a sector lord. Bai Ling giggled and flicked her finger again. Watch me break their dog legs. They bark everywhere and disturb my sleep. After losing their legs, I'll see how you guys will cry out in pain. Chapter 8:10. That being said, the 3 guardian beasts were extraordinarily powerful. Their strength was already at the level of brute force Demon King. The most powerful thing about them was that they had been suppressed in the dojo by the Green Lotus Sword sect all year round. Just like the Green Feather King back then. The Green Feather King was only suppressed, and then the fragment of the human emperor's bright wheel was sealed in his body. He was not really refined by the Celestial Sealing sect and submitted to them. The 3 monsters that came out of the Green Lotus Sword sect were not only suppressed, but also submitted to the Green Lotus Sword sect and merged with the power of the dojo. In this way, not only could they use their own strength, but they could also absorb the power of the entire Green Lotus Sword sect and turn it into an attack. Su Fang sensed the killing intent of the 3 behemoths soared into the sky. They left the Green Lotus Sword sect's dojo, but they absorbed the power of the dojo and the array of hundreds of thousands of disciples. The three behemoths were more difficult to deal with than the array attack of hundreds of thousands of experts. Bai Ling controlled the heavenly neck spirit ring, and as the three behemoths roared angrily, it passed through the air and spun quickly. Whoosh! Whoosh! The three guardian beasts used their demon forms. When they saw the ring, they opened their mouths and spat out dazzling demon flames that contained the invisible sword will of the Green Lotus Sword sect. It seemed that these three monsters were also cultivating the techniques of the Green Lotus Sword sect while being suppressed. Sizzle! The circle was blocked by the three demonic flames, but it only released more of its aura and blasted a hole in the three demonic flames. The circle seemed to have entered a place where no one could stop it. With the absolute speed of a great demon, it hit the thigh of one of the spirit beasts with a bang as Bai Ling's spirit pupils changed. The spirit beast was more than 200 feet tall, but it was hit by the heavenly neck spirit ring that was smaller than its silk. It instantly lost its center of gravity in midair and somersaulted. Then with a bang, blood splattered from its thigh, and its entire leg was almost gone. As soon as the spirit beast fell, the heavenly neck spirit ring spun to the side. In the air, the ring spun and buzzed. Seeing their companion fall, the two big goblins angrily took out two magic treasures, both of which were king-grade artifacts. Since the demon flames could not stop the ring, the two big goblins took out a big goblin and a sledgehammer. It seemed that the sledgehammer was as heavy as a mountain. Roar, roar! The two big goblins raised their heads and shouted, trembling. For a moment, the power of the Green Lotus Sword sect's formations and dojos surged towards the talismans in their hands. Then, with the power of the Green Lotus Sword sect's dojo and the big goblin's royal grade Dharma artifacts aura, the two big goblins' Dharma artifacts auras shook the surrounding space, creating black holes and cracks. What terrifying power! Clang clang swiftly and violently, the two magic treasures either smashed or hacked at the celestial neck spirit ring. The collision of the three magic treasures gave rise to blazing sparks. Crack crack! Many disciples of the Green Lotus Sword sect who were watching this battle were unable to open their eyes. In the next second, they all heard the sound of magic treasures shattering. When he looked again, the sparks had disappeared. The two transcendent artifacts were unable to stop the celestial neck spirit ring. As the ring flew out, the two transcendent artifacts were completely shattered. Then, with lightning speed, he struck the two big goblins' arms and thighs, causing the two big goblins to somersault in the air like the spirit beast. The Green Lotus Sword sect has been established for hundreds of thousands of years. Its foundation is truly terrifying. The strength of the three guardian beasts, combined with the power of the dojo, is comparable to a sector lord. To be able to do this to the big goblin is already not easy. It can be seen that the foundation of the Green Lotus Sword sect over hundreds of thousands of years is not something that ordinary people can imagine. To be able to become the number one power of the Wu-Tan field, it naturally can't be justified if they don't have such a foundation. But so what if they are so strong? Meeting Su Fang is equivalent to meeting their nemesis. Everything has its weakness. Those experts from the countless territories of the Wu-Tan field who had gathered in the air naturally watched everything unfold from the start. Not only did they see the strength of the number one power, but they also saw the foundation of the Wu-Tan field. They also saw the unstoppable Su Fang, first killing Dijin Lord, then killing his way into the Wu-Tan field, and now destroying the Green Lotus Sword sect. Just as they had expected, Dijin Lord, a sector lord with so many source cultivators, was unable to stop Su Fang. How could the Green Lotus Sword sect do it? The three big goblins instantly lost their ability to fight. Brother, take a look, Heaven Lord of Chaos is not to be trifled with. He is probably the supreme immortal of a great world. At this time, Bai Ling flicked his finger again, and the heavenly neck spirit ring attacked the hundreds of thousands of Wu-Tan field experts again. One magic treasure was enough to destroy the Green Lotus Sword sect, killing a large power without any power to fight back. What kind of magic treasure was that? Bai Ling smiled and said, "Let's see what other tricks the Green Lotus Sword sect has. These 3 big goblin are no threat to us for now. Just be careful." Su Fang nodded. Boom. Without the resistance of the 3 big goblin, the heavenly neck spirit ring finally hit the formation above the hundreds of thousands of disciples. With just one hit, the formation barrier was like a supreme building, instantly shattering in a large area. It looked like the building was about to collapse. Supreme Sect Protection Divine Artifact. Among them, a dozen old antiques suddenly formed a door in the middle. Inside the door, a celestial light appeared. Tao artifact. Inside the celestial light was a spiritual sword about a foot long, green-red, with some star-like gems shining on it. That's the legendary Tao artifact of the Green Lotus Sword sect, the Green Divine Sword. It's the Green Divine Sword. Because the Green Lotus Sword sect has this Tao artifact, generations of sect masters and experts have merged it with the origin of the dojo. This Tao artifact has probably merged with the origin of the Green Lotus Sword sect to an unimaginable level. It's so powerful, it's probably about the same as the Qilin Arch armor of Earth Truth Sacred Sovereign. It's different. The Qilin Arch armor is a defensive Tao artifact, and this Green Divine Sword is a supreme offensive Tao artifact. In addition to dozens of years of cultivation and merging with the origin of the dojo, it has an offensive advantage. This is something the Qilin Arch armor can't compare to. It's hard to see the result now. Both sides have Tao artifacts, and the Green Lotus Sword sect has such a shocking foundation that Su Fang probably won't be able to destroy the Green Lotus Sword sect. Not necessarily. As the Tao artifact spiritual sword rose into the air from the formation, the sword chi rose like a divine sun. Countless cultivators in the surroundings exclaimed. They were attracted by this Tao artifact. Any expert could see that the Green Divine Sword had merged with the origin of the Green Lotus Sword sect's dojo to an astonishing degree under the influence of the dojo. In some ways, it was comparable to an individual powerhouse merging with a Tao artifact. No matter how powerful a person was, they couldn't completely merge with a Tao artifact, but a faction could gather the power of countless disciples to merge with a Tao artifact and unleash its greatest power. This was going to be interesting. Unexpectedly, just as the countless disciples of the Green Lotus Sword sect saw hope, Bai Ling shouted coldly, "Haha, in front of me, the Green Lotus Sword sect is just making a last-ditch struggle." On the other side, Su Fang suddenly said, "Try not to destroy the Green Divine Sword. Previously, when I obtained the Qilin Arch armor of the Earth Truth Sacred Venerate and the Green Divine Sword, I can let 2 more experts with Tao artifacts by my side." I know." Bai Ling flicked her finger again. The heavenly neck spirit ring that was about to hit the formation suddenly slowed down. Clearly, she was waiting for the Green Divine Sword to attack. At this moment, the power of countless Green Lotus Sword sect's experts and the dojos behind them all turned into Xian Guang and spiritual light that surged into the Green Divine Sword. After a sound, the Green Divine Sword carried with it an extremely sharp sword chi. At first, it was only 1 foot long, but now it was more than 30 feet long. Also, it was surrounded by a shapeless sword chi that was more than 3,000 feet long. It formed a horrifying attack that was the combination of the immortal sword and the sword force. The Tao artifact and the sword force caused the sky to tremble. The heavenly neck spirit ring suddenly moved like a dragonfly skimming the surface of the water. It was about to attack the sword force. But the Green Divine Sword seemed to have a primordial spirit as well. The sword force around it formed a beam of sword force that slashed at the heavenly neck spirit ring. Boom! The sword force hit the ring accurately. But the ring was not affected at all. The sword force shattered on its own. Whoosh! They did not expect that the Tao artifact's sword force would be broken so easily. Before the countless cultivators could react, the heavenly necklace suddenly pointed at the green radiance immortal sword with lightning speed, and suddenly transformed into a distorted circle. Buzzing, buzzing, buzzing. The green divine sword quickly fought back. The sword force exploded again. There were many sword patterns of sword force on the sword. However, the heavenly neck spirit ring suddenly enveloped the green radiance immortal sword, as if it was a ring worn on the sword. In the blink of an eye, the sword light and sword chi of the green divine sword disappeared. It shrunk from 30 feet to 30 feet long. It floated in the air quietly like a normal Dharma treasure. Bai Ling suddenly performed a Dharma seal in the air. Take it. The heavenly neck spirit ring that was entangling the green divine sword suddenly let out a dark glow. Under the shocked gazes of many cultivators, the heavenly neck spirit ring sucked a Tao artifact into the void. It was gone. A dignified Tao artifact spirit sword had actually disappeared. How could it be gone? All the cultivators in the flying celestial realm had witnessed a Tao artifact being forcefully taken away by another Tao artifact. Green Lotus Sword Sect, you're finished. Array. Bai Ling flicked his finger again. The heavenly neck spirit ring spun rapidly and crashed into the array barrier above the hundreds of thousands of disciples. They were finished. Countless disciples of the Green Lotus Sword Sect felt helpless and hopeless when they saw the Tao artifact being taken away. They were especially fearful of the heavenly neck spirit ring. Then, just as they had expected, the heavenly neck spirit ring hit the array. This time, the array formed by hundreds of thousands of disciples completely collapsed. The building collapsed. A large number of disciples in the surroundings were killed by the impact of the array's collapse. The heavenly neck spirit ring was going to kill countless disciples. Origin energy, golden lotus sword pool, divine sword sky. Who knew? The powerful cultivators and old antiques in the center were still forming hand seals. They also ordered the other disciples to form hand seals. Origin energy surged out of the dojo behind them and formed a door above them. A door of sword chi. The door was absorbing the true chi of countless disciples and the majestic spirit chi of the dojo. Then, a golden flower appeared and bloomed. Golden Lotus Sword Pool. The most powerful divine power of the Green Lotus Sword Sect. I heard that countless experts of the Green Lotus Sword Sect planted it under the dojo to protect the sect. There were a lot of exclamations again. Su Fangda looked down with his perfect ability. The origin energy of the dojo of the Green Lotus Sword Sect was absorbed by the Golden Lotus Sword Pool, as well as the true chi and dharma power of countless disciples. This was an array attack, but it was also a supreme divine power of the array. It was a force formed by all the power of the dojo. Even a Tao artifact can't stop me. This little bit of power is nothing. Bai Ling smiled coldly and controlled the heavenly neck spirit ring to fly towards the rising golden lotus sword pool. The door disappeared, and in its place was an enormous sword pool that looked like a lotus flower formed by countless strands of sword chi. Each strand of sword chi was incomparably sharp and destructive. As it rose, it grew from 100 feet to 100,000 feet tall. Chapter 8:11. Boom. The golden lotus sword pool occupied everything, and some black holes appeared in the sky above. However, at this moment, under countless gazes, the heavenly neck spirit ring hit the golden lotus sword pool, and the sword pool collapsed instantly, layer by layer. This destructive force killed a large number of the hundreds of thousands of disciples below. We're willing to disband the Green Lotus Sword Sect. We're willing to leave. At least tens of thousands of disciples died under the fragments of the Golden Lotus Sword Pool. When the other disciples saw the Green Lotus Sword Sect's final trump card, they realized that even with such incredible power, they were no match for it. Especially, many of the experts controlling the Golden Lotus Sword Pool in the center, the old antiques and higher-ups of the Green Lotus Sword Sect, were either killed or seriously injured when the Golden Lotus Sword Pool shattered. Some even fainted. Did the Green Lotus Sword sect still have a trump card? Did they still have the strength to resist? There was nothing left. The Tao artifact was taken away, and their trump card was shattered. Even the guardian beasts were either dead or crippled. What could they, the ordinary disciples, do? Almost at the same time, the hundreds of thousands of disciples who survived retracted their true chi and restrained their emotions. After the shattered golden lotus sword pool above disappeared, all the disciples below were just like mortals, floating obediently in a dark mass. The final great faction. Disappear. Heaven's will, man's will. The experts of many factions witnessed the fall of the Green Lotus Sword sect and walked down from the altar. Who didn't sigh? Su Fang flew over, and the heavenly neck spirit ring also disappeared in Bai Ling's palm. The hundreds of thousands of powerful disciples of the Green Lotus Sword sect trembled uneasily when they saw the two. Su Fang scanned and found the old man. Zizi? 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 Jing? Zizi? 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 He released his domineering aura and looked at the majestic Green Lotus Sword sect in front of him. Why aren't you removing the Green Lotus Sword sect's dojo? A large number of high-level disciples immediately formed hand seals, and Xian Guang came from inside. Under the gazes of countless cultivators, the dojo's barrier peeled off layer by layer and disappeared layer by layer, finally revealing the Green Lotus Sword sect's dojo's true face. It was a vast territory shrouded in spirit chi. There were hundreds of thousands of disciples, sword sect's disciples, and they were all below the Calamity Realm. Back then, the Green Lotus Sword sect's leaders, and leaders back then have all fallen sect's leaders. Disciples, you can choose to stay or leave. You. Disciples, you. Green sect. Of. Hundreds of thousands of disciples flew in all directions like a defeated army, leaving only the spiritual land of the Green Lotus Sword sect. Su Fang released his supreme primordial spirit again, exploding with the voice of the heavenly demon. All the higher-ups of the Wu Tan realm, listen up, my goal has been achieved. From now on, the Wu Tan realm belongs to me, Su Fang, and also to all your major forces. I want to fulfill my promise to all of you here. From now on, all forces can continue to grow stronger here. You don't have to pay me any resources. Thank you, Realm Lord. Representatives of many forces appeared in the sky. There were tens of thousands of them, and they were all in the flying celestial realm. Su Fang emphasized again, if you are my friend, you will always be under my protection. If you are my enemy, I, Su Fang, will not be polite. Suddenly, a leader of a force asked, what if there is an immortal from the Wu Tan realm that ascended? Su Fang answered with certainty, leave it to me. Since I have the Wu Tan realm, even if an immortal comes, I will not give it to him. Congratulations on becoming the Supreme Realm Lord. The representatives of many forces had nothing to say. They bowed at the same time and then left. Su Fang turned around and used the world origin of the Wu Tan realm to wrap the bodies of the disciples of the Green Lotus Sword sect in a fire cloud. Whoosh, whoosh. In less than half an incense stick's time, an enchantment began to cover the former Green Lotus Sword sect. This spiritual land was created by the Green Lotus Sword sect for hundreds of thousands of years. Every blade of grass and soil had spiritual energy, and the resources accumulated by the Green Lotus Sword sect for countless years were also left here. Everything was Su Fang's. After the enchantment was born, it enveloped this territory. Then, Su Fang came into the enchantment and used a large number of formations to build a place that belonged to him. But it was not used for cultivation. It was used to meet the experts of the Wu Tan realm in the future. Just like the imperial city on the rich continent. When everything was arranged, Su Fang released a large amount of world origin and immediately activated the rune talisman. After a while, Su Zhenhua's voice came from the rune talisman. Master, we are about to reach the Beichen zone. We have heard that the Beichen zone is prepared to stop us from attacking. Su Fang's majestic voice said, let them know the outcome of the Wu Tan realm first. Deter them. If they still want to resist, attack the Beichen zone. You also tell everyone that I have taken control of the Wu Tan realm and destroyed the Green Lotus Sword sect. Congratulations, Master. Su Zhenhua, Li Haojie, Elder Heizun, Marquis Qin Yuanho and Sacred King Guangzhou would be shocked when they hear this news. After taking down the Wu Tan realm, the Beichen zone will be a piece of cake. Even if they resist, it will not be as exhausting as dealing with the Wu Tan realm. Putting away the rune talisman, a deep intent penetrated through. Su Fang smiled and cupped his fists politely. Senior Six Lords, sorry for not going out to meet you. It turned out that the intent came from the Spirit Mist Realm's Realm Lord, 6 Lords of Rich Fertility. After the enchantment formed a door, 6 Lords of Rich Fertility appeared and praised. Brat, you have cultivated the demonic disintegration seal to such a level. Miraculous, amazing! This junior was also forced to think of ways to strengthen myself. I had no choice but to cultivate the demonic book. Because of this, it brought me some trouble. As long as your state of mind is strong, evil thoughts will not be able to affect your mind. I am here to tell you that I have asked my disciples to bring over 10,000 experts from the Spirit Mist realm to help you take over the Beichen zone. They are on their way. Thank you for your help, Senior. Before this, I did not know how strong you were and what kind of foundation you had. Now that I know that you have hidden your strength. Just like what you said to the others before, knowing how strong you are, I will not have to worry about immortals descending to the lower realm and finding trouble. Anyway, thank you, Senior. I think that after taking over the Beichen zone, you will not have to worry. You should quickly fuse with the Wu Tan realm's origin and cultivate the essence of the realm. Otherwise, immortals will really descend to the lower realm to find you. After reminding him, 6 Lords of Rich Fertility's intent dissipated. A realm lord is a realm lord, and friendship is friendship. As a realm lord, I have to consider everything. 6 Lords, you only supported me publicly because you knew my true strength. At this moment, Su Fang suddenly had many thoughts. As a realm lord, as a supreme being, it was not simple. Whoosh! Great perfection stage ability suddenly heard many movements. He immediately released a seal, and a door extended from the enchantment. After a few breaths, dozens of experts entered the door with reverence and uneasiness. They came to the main hall. These cultivators were all immortal realm giant. Their strength was slightly weaker than Sorcerer Heiyun, and each of them had the aura of a world. They were all cultivators of the origin of the Wu Tan realm. Dozens of people immediately knelt on one knee. Greetings, Your Honor. Rise. With a wave of his hand, Su Fang calmly swept across every unfamiliar face. The former realm lord of the Wu Tan realm and many experts died in the Xianjia Gate, and Heavenly Sovereign Dijin died in my hands. From now on, the Wu Tan realm will be controlled by me, Su Fang. You are all experts who followed the former realm lord to cultivate. You are very familiar with the world barrier, and you are also more familiar with the territories in the world than I am. I hope that you will continue to guard your respective territories and the Wu Tan realm. When I take over the Beichen zone, I will gather the other origin experts and redistribute the tasks to you. The group of experts listened respectfully with cold sweat on their foreheads. One of them immediately reported, Your Honor, there are some dangerous places now. Some forces have begun to kill each other, and some big goblin and demons have also emerged. Do we need to suppress them? Of course, we need to suppress them. If they are big goblin and demons, try to keep them alive after suppressing them. I want to refine them into puppets. You should also pass on the message to the other origin cultivators. I hope that they don't play tricks behind my back. If I find out, they will not be able to live past a day. Su Fang replied majestically. These experts carefully left the enchantment with their hearts trembling in fear. Brother, I have caught 3 guardian beasts of the Green Lotus Sword sect for you. What big goblin? They are just 3 little ones. Suddenly, a ray of spiritual light struck. It was Bai Ling flying in the air and shackling 3 cultivators. They were not cultivators, but the 3 guardian beasts of the Green Lotus Sword sect. At this time, they had transformed into human forms and were thrown to the ground by Bai Ling. Mercy, mercy. The 3 big goblin hurriedly kowtowed to Su Fang and begged for mercy. Su Fang immediately condensed his mind and sealed the 3 shackles into the minds of the 3. He slowly said, I won't kill you. If you submit, you will have a chance to live. You will serve me in the future. Now, I have a mission for you. It is estimated that some demons and big goblin will appear in the Wu-Tan realm soon and disturb the peace of the world. Go and keep an eye on them for me. If you find anything, record it down. If you don't, you will see to it. The 3 big goblin were still scared out of their wit. Brother, I will follow them to the Wu-Tan realm. Anyway, no matter how much I cultivate now, I won't have much possibility of breaking through, hee hee. Then, Bai Ling took the 3 big goblin and left the territory. With Bai Ling around, he did not have to worry about any demons or big goblins stirring up trouble. Not to mention big goblin and demons, even immortals could not do anything to Bai Ling. He grabbed a corpse. It was the corpse of Heavenly Venerable Dijin. I will first use Heavenly Venerable Dijin's corpse as a primer to absorb the world power of the Wu-Tan realm that he had fused with, as well as the nomological will. Then, I will absorb the world power from the endless world and fuse a part of it with the Wu-Tan realm as soon as possible. An immortal fire burned and enveloped Heavenly Venerable Dijin. Under the burning, Heavenly Venerable Dijin's empty bag, Dharma treasures, and Qilin Dharch armor also appeared. Su Fang kept these treasures. There was world power in several of his Dharma treasures. This made it easier for him to absorb the essence of the Wu-Tan realm. After refining the corpse, the power left behind was true qi and the vast world essence. It was the same as the world essence of the human emperor's inheritance. This was the power that Heavenly Venerable Dijin had cultivated for tens of thousands of years. Gradually it began to fuse, and invisibly, a large amount of natural spirit qi surged into this barrier. It was the world power that cultivators dreamed of. Fortunately, he already had some world power of the Wu-Tan realm in his body. At this moment, he could quickly use Heavenly Venerable Dijin as a primer to condense and cultivate the essence of the Wu-Tan realm. Chapter 8:12. Just as Su Fang was fusing with the power of the Wu-Tan realm, his subordinates were attacking the Beichen zone. Wu-Tan realm. In the past, this galaxy was a cultivation world. It was so brilliant, but today, it had lost its world barrier and became a planet gradually shackled by the power of the galaxy. Fortunately, without the world barrier, the spiritual energy that had condensed over countless years still formed a layer of spiritual energy on the surface of the planet, which could protect the planet. However, after a long time, the power of the galaxy would eventually dissipate completely, causing the Zhuotian realm to gradually become a desolate planet. Without the protection of the world barrier, the Earth seemed to have lost its center of gravity. There were no oceans or lakes, only bottomless trenches on the surface of the Earth. From afar, it looked like giants were coiled on the surface of the Zhuotian realm. There were no plants and no life. At the end of the planet, there was a gourd-like continent that had taken root and overlapped with the ground. This was one of the 4 great continents of the past, the Crimson Sky continent. In the past, there were no traces of cultivation dojos on the continent, such as the Broken Sword sect, the Dual Immortal sect, and the Celestial Sealing sect. It was completely bare. Looking up, one could only see a cold gourd boulder lying on the ground. At the place where the gourd merged, near the mouth of the gourd, was the place where the southern border and the crimson sky continent merged. The incomparably mysterious dark forest was still filled with a layer of black fog. Upon closer inspection, there were still some bustling forests under the fog. The dark forest was once boundless and vast, like a fish-bone, stuck between the southern border and the crimson sky continent. But now it was less than 1/10 of its former size. Most of it was destroyed by the supreme aura released when the Xianjia Gate attacked the Zhuotian realm. The dark forest was now the only existence in the crimson sky continent. As expected of the disciple of the Zhuotian realm lord, Master Heiyun was indeed powerful. All the dojos on the crimson sky continent no longer existed, but the dark forest still stood in this continent. Some vital energy existed in the fog of the forest. Some experts were patrolling. In the depths of the forest, within the layers of barriers, there was a dark mountain range without much life. It was almost dead silent. It seemed that ever since the dark forest was born, there was a very ordinary power of darkness that deeply affected this territory. There were some caves in the mountain range, and in the depths of a cliff near the mountain peak, there was a huge cave. There were 2 experts standing guard outside the cave. There were still layers of formations inside. In the depths of the formation, Wizard Heiyun was heavily injured. He was cultivating in a ball of power that resembled black smoke. Despicable immortals! Despicable Xianjia Gate! Sorcerer Heiyun's body trembled. It turned out that his body was covered with bloody wounds. It was a ghastly sight. Everything was within Master's plan. He brought 5 great immortals, and he himself was a supreme immortal. Originally, the 6 of them could kill most of the immortals and join forces to suppress the Xianjia Gate. Who would have thought that the Xianjia Gate would rush out and kill more than half of our fellow experts who had set up the formation? Even the interior of the world was destroyed by the shock wave. When he recalled the process of getting injured, he felt a lump in his throat. Master is also heavily injured now and is in seclusion in the depths of the Earth's core. He is unable to help me cleanse my marrow. Do I have to rely on 10,000 years to recover? I thought that Master would leave the small world and then pass it on to me. In the end, the more he thought about it, the more upset he felt. He had a stomach full of bitterness that he could not finish vomiting. When I recover, wouldn't it be possible for Master to pass on the power of the world to other senior brothers? His eyes stared straight ahead. He immediately stopped cultivating and frowned in the dark aura. Shouldn't you listen to me and follow me? Only then can you surpass thousands of cultivators. Suddenly, in the depths of the dark aura, a black-robed man formed by black smoke appeared. Wizard Heiyun stared at the black shadow. Humph, your power is too evil and cold. It's not suitable for me. The black shadow laughed hoarsely. If it's not suitable for you, then why did you accidentally appear in the depths of the dark space? Why did you absorb the dark power that belonged to me? Why did you become known as Wizard Heiyun? If you did not absorb my power, you would not have become the Realm Lord's disciple. You don't have that talent. Without me, you would not have woken up from the dark space. You still don't know how powerful I am. You have to know that the dark forest didn't exist because of you, Sorcerer Heiyun. It was because of me that the dark forest and Sorcerer Heiyun existed. I came here before you. Is there any meaning in talking about this? The single-horned devil venerable that was suppressed here in the past was just a strand of your consciousness. I don't understand. You established that night spirit sect in the Zhuotian world. I thought you were going to establish the number 1 power in the Zhuotian world, but in the end, the night spirit sect did not cause any trouble. I can control countless puppets. The single-horned devil venerable is just one of the puppets. As for the night spirit cult, it's just to restore its strength and let the puppets establish a so-called force. What Zhuotian realm? You're short-sighted. I don't blame you. You're not incompetent. It's just that you haven't met the right person, That Zhuotian realm lord isn't the right person for you. You are too arrogant. I admit that I cannot see through your power, but my master is an immortal. 10,000 years ago, he ascended to the great immortal world. On the way, he went to the great immortal world to condense an immortal spirit body and then returned to the small world. Do you know that this is not something an ordinary person can do? You are not even an immortal. Immortals and cultivators will not explain to you. I just want you to know that no matter how powerful an immortal or cultivator is, in front of my sect, they are all lowly existences like ants. If I want to go to the great world, I will not be shackled by the laws of the great world. I can come and go freely. Forget it. If you are here for fun, I don't have time to accompany you. Wizard Heiyun listened for a while. The more he listened, the more he lost his calm. That realm lord Zhuotian was an immortal, and this black-robed man looked down on him. The black shadow laughed faintly. Since you accidentally awakened this body back then, this sect did not suppress you and refine you into a puppet. Since you don't believe in this sect's ability, I will now take you to see your trash of a master. I will suppress him and let you seize his immortal body. In less than half a day, you will replace Realm Lord Zhuotian and seize his hundreds of thousands of years of cultivation, allowing you to become an immortal with a thought. How about it? I will not do something like deceiving my master and destroying my ancestors. Haha, Master Heiyun, what kind of person are you? Even after so many years, I still haven't seen through you. You're ambitious, but you're timid and have been waiting for an opportunity. But you know, opportunities are not only waiting for, but also created by yourself. Now that Wu Tan is recuperating, it's your best opportunity. You even said something about deceiving your master and destroying your ancestors. You! Come with me. A person with a dark heart like you is selfish and greedy. You are just right for this sex taste. If you don't grab this opportunity now, this body will not help you in the future. You are not joking. Haha, this sect never jokes. Since you want to see this sect's strength, this sect will show you. Dark Realm. The black-robed man laughed and slowly withdrew the top of his robe, revealing his original appearance. He was just an extremely ordinary 30-year-old male cultivator. His aura was not strong, but his dark aura was deep and boundless. Suddenly, Wizard Heiyun did not have time to react. He found that his surroundings had suddenly fallen into the endless galaxy. He was in the depths of the galaxy, the legendary abyss of the galaxy. There was no luster, only dark starlight. However, he could magically see the dark man standing beside him, and the surroundings were not the dark forest he was familiar with. There was no trace of Zhuotian Realm's aura. Wizard Heiyun exclaimed, "What is this place? Is it a divine image or a legendary Dao domain that only immortals can control? This is the Dark Realm. What divine image or Dao domain? If you have to say it, just say it is a world, a dark world that belongs to this seat." The mysterious man nodded slightly and looked forward. "My dark believers, come out." "Yes, Supreme Lord." In the darkness, before Wizard Heiyun could come back to his senses, countless dark figures appeared. And the leader made him exclaim, "Single-horned demon supremacy and the others, why are they the cultivators who broke into my dark forest and were shackled by me?" A large number of dark figures became clear, and suddenly seemed to be floating in front of Wizard Heiyun. There were about a few hundred people, and the leader was also a demon that Su Fang and Dao Wuliang had seen before, the single-horned demon supremacy. Most of the others were also seen by Wizard Heiyun and had an impression of them. Next to the single-horned demon supremacy, there was a middle-aged cultivator. This person's outfit, if Su Fang and Bai Ling were here, they would recognize this person immediately. The former prefecture lord of Tianmen province, the Tianmen sacred emperor. Wizard Heiyun could not believe it. Most of these people were suppressed by me in the dark forest prison. How could you control them silently? You don't have to worry about it. Even if I explain, you won't understand. My sect is not building any forces now, but in the small worlds where mortals live, we are collecting some kind of power that will be very important in the future. It can change the laws of heaven and earth. Let's go. The mysterious man shook his head silently, and his eyes suddenly burst with an evil light. Everyone seemed to be in a distorted darkness. And only a breath later, the distorted darkness suddenly disappeared, and a crack of white light appeared in front of them. The crack widened slightly, and at the end of the white light was the endless source of the Zhuotian realm, and there was an immortal light in it. Realm Lord Zhuotian was cultivating in the immortal light. Wizard Heiyun was dumbfounded. How fast are you? You came to my master's forbidden area in the blink of an eye, and you even came in front of him without being sensed by him. You won't understand even if I explain. You haven't seen the great world, and you haven't seen the vast starry sky of the great world. Wizard Heiyun, I'll give you this one chance. When you become an immortal and replace everything of the Realm Lord, you have to consider if you want to pledge your loyalty to me. If you don't want to, I won't look at you anymore. Look at these people, they are all believers of my sect. We don't need you. I whoosh. Suddenly, not allowing Wizard Heiyun to speak, he said another word. The dark man grabbed out with the white light, and the cultivating realm Lord Zhuotian was enveloped by a large amount of darkness energy. Like a black stream, he was sucked into this dark mysterious world. Heiyun realm Lord Zhuotian was enveloped by the darkness, and he fell into despair. He was an immortal, yet he couldn't resist at all. Just a mere immortal, fusing with darkness. The dark man patted Wizard Heiyun's shoulder, and his body actually started burning. His energy transformed into an energy figure, effortlessly entering the forehead of the former Realm Lord Zhuotian. Realm Lord Zhuotian didn't even have the chance to struggle, and he fell into a deep sleep. All of you should work hard for my sect. In the future, there will be many benefits for all of you. Following the dark man's cold smile, the darkness world disappeared. Chapter 8:13 Wu Tan World. The dojo of the Green Lotus Sword sect disappeared in exchange for a more powerful and mysterious dojo that covered a large territory. Deep in the dojo a large amount of the world's essence was constantly flowing into a figure. Su Fang was in the center of the formation, releasing the 9 yang meridians at an amazing speed, absorbing the power of the Wu Tan world with the stars in his inner world. Suddenly, the spiritual light disappeared, and he left the dojo with the speed of shuttling. In a few breaths, he was in a vast primeval forest. He called out the undying tortoise, and let many big goblin lurk around. Formations were released one by one, and the undying tortoise was waiting lazily. When Su Fang released the power in his body, it turned into a flame and rushed to the sky. Soon, the wind changed color and the wind kept blowing. When many clouds appeared in the sky, they knew that Su Fang was preparing to go through the trial. During this time, I swallowed the power of Lord Dijin and began to merge with the Wu-Tan world. My strength increased greatly, reaching the peak of level 3 Feather Transformation Realm. When I reach level 4 Feather Transformation Realm, my overall strength will increase a lot, and the speed of merging with the Wu-Tan world will increase as well. Come on, I will use this time to merge with the Wu-Tan world and absorb the power of heaven and earth. I have to reach the peak of the Feather Transformation Realm in the shortest time possible, and finally break through to the Fairy Realm. Only then can I compete with the Xinyuan Empire and Doichi Lower World. Looking at the sky, stepping on the mountains and rivers, tens of thousands of qi exploded around Su Fang, and his majestic body crossed the boundless land. Not long after, the sky was filled with dark clouds. The heavenly tribulation howled, and the first heavenly tribulation descended. It was the familiar heavenly lightning and earthly fire. Of course, the astral tribulation was much stronger, especially the earthly fire, which quickly burned around Su Fang. Whoosh, undying tortoise! Looking at the first trial, Su Fang casually grabbed, and a palm print grabbed half of the power of the trial, and turned it into a dragon snake form, rolling toward the undying tortoise. The undying tortoise opened its mouth and spat out a demonic aura, which cooperated with Su Fang and swallowed the violent trial into its body. In an instant Su Fang made another grab and shattered the remaining heavenly tribulation. Following that, the second, third, and final fourth heavenly tribulations were all stripped away by Su Fang's formidable strength. Although the heavenly tribulation of the Ascension realm did not affect him much, the earth fire of the astral tribulation caused the land within 100 miles around him to be burnt to a crisp. The heavenly tribulation was destructive. Fortunately, this was a deserted area. Otherwise, many innocent lives would have died here. After breaking through the fourth tribulation, his body transformed and advanced. After a series of impacts, Su Fang saw that the blood threads transformed from the Black Lotus real body began to grow first, intertwining the bones, blood, muscles, cells, meridians, and even the skin. Even the toes were connected by the blood threads of the Black Lotus. It was not unreasonable for the seven-star child to come to the lower realm to capture Su Fang. The wonders of the Black Lotus real body could only be slowly understood by continuous cultivation. A special physical body is extraordinary. The sect master's 5-poison real body is equivalent to the power of immortality. It took countless years of effort to cultivate the fusion of the 5-poison real body and the physical body. When the physical body suffers any damage or is on the verge of death, the 5-poison spiritual objects hidden deep in the body will absorb the physical strength and form a new physical body. Although the Black Lotus real body does not have the power of immortality like the 5-poison real body, its vitality is unimaginable. Now, most of the blood threads of the Black Lotus can slowly operate vital qi. If all the blood threads of the Black Lotus can operate vital qi, then I will have several times more meridians in my body. When the meridians and blood threads cooperate in cultivation, it means that the blood threads will also become my meridians. In that case, my cultivation speed will be several times faster than other cultivators. I guess the blood threads of the Black Lotus have other abilities. The Black Lotus real body is perfectly integrated with the Great Perfection physical body. In the future, I don't know what other abilities will be stimulated. Seeing the changes of the Black Lotus real body in his body, he could not help but think of the 7-star child. He gradually grasped the situation in his body and was very satisfied with this state. When his physical body calmed down, the heavenly trial finally dissipated. The undying tortoise was still emitting green smoke for a long time. This fellow's huge physical body was more agile than before. The only thing that was lacking now was a set of cultivation techniques that were suitable for the undying tortoise. After breaking through to Immortal Realm Level 4, the vital qi in his body became very thin. His physical body was empty, and only 1/3 of it was vital qi. Activating the power of the world, Su Fang began to devour the remaining immortal blood essence, immortal fruits, and other resources. Soon, the power of the world, which could be seen with the naked eye, surged in from all directions and was absorbed by Su Fang. Every strand of hair and strand was absorbing at a crazy rate. How shocking was the change! In less than 3 months, Su Fang absorbed the power of the world several times faster than before because of the origin of the world and the partial integration of the Wu-Tan realm. In such a short time, the vital qi in his body had obviously reached the normal state of Immortal Realm Level 4. At this rate, in a few years, he could reach the peak of Immortal Realm Level 4 and break through to Immortal Realm Level 5. Even cultivating in the Renhuang world did not have such a shocking transformation. The Renhuang world had lost the world barrier for countless years, and its essence had been exhausted to the extreme. Su Fang said that he would integrate with the Renhuang world. Rather than that, it was better to rely on his own strength to change the desolate Renhuang world step by step and restore it to its former glory. Cultivation in the Wu Tan realm was very different. This realm was rich in spiritual energy, and Su Fang had nothing to worry about when he integrated with this realm. This way, the strength in his body could increase without limit. The purple cloud's magical spirit is really amazing. Even now, with the strength and cultivation of the immortal realm, I still can't control it. He sensed other changes. Currently, he was most concerned about the purple cloud's magical spirit in his right arm. After all, in the Wu Tan realm, he had witnessed the destruction of the celestial sealing sect. He was so close to Xing Chongxing, but he still could not get the purple cloud's magical spirit back. The purple cloud's magical spirit had been in a state of integration in his right arm all these years, but he could not activate it at will. Just like the mixed Yuan sacred realm in his body, he could not control it and could not understand the purple cloud's magical spirit's ability. All this showed that the purple cloud's magical spirit was extraordinary. Back then, when I obtained a part of the divine image jade annulus, I could not integrate it. The third part of the purple cloud's magical spirit has always been in front of me. If back then in the celestial sealing sect, I did not fear so much and directly attacked Xing Chongxing, maybe I could have taken back the purple cloud's magical spirit. But at that time I was too weak. I was not close to Xing Chongxing. This person is also very mysterious. Who knows how strong he was back then? Time and luck. I did not get the third part of the purple cloud's magical spirit, which means that I did not know the time and did not have absolute power. Xing Chongxing is now in the hands of Huang Lingyao and even Seven-Star Child. In addition, the two of them have left the small realm. I still have to go to the unknown Xian Ao Great World and find the two of them to think of a way to get it back. Huang Lingyao, it seems that among the four great Venerable's disciples, you are now the winner in life. Prince Shui's left arm was cut off by me. He should have fled to the Xinyuan Empire. Xing Chongxing is in your hands. I am still cultivating in the small realm, but you have already become an immortal. Looking at the purple cloud's magical spirit, many images suddenly appeared in his mind, and he could not help but sigh. He also looked at the other changes. The integration of the dragon-taming wood on his left arm was more perfect. If he activated the wood elemental ability now, his left arm would immediately sprout. The origin golden core in his dantian had also absorbed more pure yang energy, and the integration with the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda was closer. It was estimated to be close to the 9th level. Perhaps when he reached the fairy realm, he could really integrate with the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda and have a perfect life source magic treasure. Not to mention that in the small realm, it was difficult for a cultivator to have a life source magic treasure. Even in the great realm, it was not easy for the supreme immortals to cultivate a life source magic treasure. The quality of my life source magic treasure is still a little lower than the Starry Daylight Sword. Unfortunately, my physical body is too weak. I think when I reach the fairy realm, the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda will be able to advance with me. Its quality will obviously change. I won't have the power to shake it at the Ascension realm. Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda's quality is close to the peak, and its overall strength is higher than mine. My strength must reach the same level before I can improve the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. After looking at the life source magic treasure, he looked at the flaming cloud spiritual gourd, fire god elephant, the 13 fire crystal golems, the instant space ring, and other magic treasures. These magic treasures were all auxiliary. The most important magic treasures were the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda and the Mixed Essence Sacred Realm. Buzz, he originally planned to stop cultivating, then go back and collect the heritage of the Green Lotus Sword Sect. Then, he would meet up with Bai Ling and immediately rush to the Beichen Zone. He did not expect that when he was cultivating and absorbing countless essences of the Wutan realm, an aura suddenly came from the depths of his body. When he came to take a look, he was very proud. It turned out that near the 9 yang meridians that had formed a cycle, the 10th yang meridian had been successfully condensed. The light was dazzling, and the yang energy was almost burning. Just in time, just in time. He had just broken through to Immortal Realm Level 4, and did not expect that the 10th yang meridian would be successfully condensed. He immediately urged all the yang energy to attack the 10th yang meridian, causing the speed of condensation to increase. He felt that the 10th yang meridian was like a silkworm cocoon, wriggling little by little, becoming bigger and fatter little by little. A few months later, as the yang energy burst out around Su Fang, the 10th yang meridian was finally formed. It calmed down and began to merge with the 9 yang meridian, absorbing the pure 9 yang energy from the 9 yang meridian. Indestructible golden body. He felt the changes brought about by the 10th yang meridian. He stopped cultivating, absorbed the undying turtle into the small universe fairy pot, and then formed a seal in the air. With a thought, a layer of golden Taoist robe appeared on his body. Su Fang, who was wearing a golden Taoist robe and exuding the sacred light of smaller worlds and even greater worlds, was like a natural-born sovereign. I can use the indestructible golden body in such a short time. The birth of the 10th yang meridian has increased the speed of the 9 yang meridian. It's indescribable. Also, when I use the 9 yang meridian, my god-level aura will go berserk. It feels like I'm cultivating the Holy Emperor Divine Yuan scripture, and I have the aura of an emperor. Su Fang's eyes looked into the depths of the Wu Tan realm, and a domineering aura surged out. The way of the emperor, is this the aura of the emperor that the way of the emperor has? I didn't expect that after only cultivating this great Tao for 100 years, my body and mind would involuntarily emit the aura of an emperor. He smiled faintly, and the robe formed by the indestructible golden body disappeared. In less than 2 breaths, he had returned to the Green Lotus Sword Sect's dojo. He came to the depths of the dojo and released the inner layer of the barrier. It was not that he did not know about this barrier. This was the core barrier that Green Lotus had seen. Inside the barrier was endless sword intent, immortal spirit chi, and the origin of the Wu Tan realm. Haha, Green Lotus Sword Sect, don't disappoint me. After being born in the Wu Tan realm for so many years, you must have a lot of treasures that I need. He smiled and walked into the depths of the spirit chi light like a bandit. Chapter 8:14. He kept entering the most central formation world of the former Green Lotus Sword Sect. There were too many familiar world auras, spiritual chi, and even immortal chi intertwined in every corner of the space. Hundreds of meters deep, a large number of magic treasures, spiritual stones, rune talismans, secret manuals, and spiritual objects appeared in front of Su Fang. There were also spiritual veins, thousands of them alone. Most of the magic treasures were mainly flying swords, and the secret manuals also revealed obvious sword will. It seemed that these secret manuals, placed here for a long time, had been imperceptibly stained with the supreme sword will. Every treasure here was the foundation left by the Green Lotus Sword Sect. There was also a space of 10,000 meters inside, all of which were amazing treasures. A few hundred years ago, these treasures would have been boundless treasures to Su Fang. Now, however, they were not worth much. He had spiritual stones and no shortage of magic treasures, and spiritual objects could hardly compare to the treasures of the big world. As for the secret manuals of the Green Lotus Sword Sect, Su Fang was not very interested in them. All kinds of resources had been sorted out, and Su Fang directly absorbed a category of resources into the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda. Controlling the Wutan realm and the Beichen zone did not require many resources, but to rebuild the civilization of the Renhuang world and establish a foothold in the galaxy, it required endless resources. There are thousands of king-grade magic treasures close to the Xianwang Six Paths Pagoda. Not bad, not bad. He still paid attention to some exquisite treasures. There were also some treasures from the big worlds. For example, there were about 10 million immortal stones of unknown origin, and some fragments from the big world. But even the divine image jade annulus could not deduce the complete cultivation method from the fragment. After a full 2 hours, he collected all the resources. At this moment, he came to the deepest part and found a seal. It was sealed on the ground deep in the earth, and from the seal there was an astonishing sword will. Su Fang estimated that the essence of all the dojos of the Green Lotus Sword sect was located in the depths. Maybe it was a huge spiritual vein or a peerless flying sword. After the seal was erased, a shocking sword will immediately burst out. Su Fang used his divine might to absorb the sword will into the runes. These were all supreme treasures left behind by countless experts of the Green Lotus Sword sect. Took quite a while for it to be completely absorbed. A corridor led to the depths, and an indescribable Zhuotian realm's world source seeped out from below. Could it be a huge Wu-Tan realm's origin soul essence or origin Yuan stone spirit vein? Filled with anticipation, he immediately dashed into the corridor. After walking for about a kilometer, they finally arrived at an underground palace. There were also enchantments in the necropolis, and some parts of the necropolis had been loosened. Presumably, when he had attacked the Taoist Right Temple, some of the old-timers had been suppressing the area, and then fled. I wonder if the treasure has been taken away by these old antiques. Walking into the underground palace, there were only 2 kinds of auras. One was sword intent, and the other was the origin of the Wu-Tan realm. The underground palace was very ancient. The Green Lotus Sword sect had been established for at least 100,000 years. To be able to survive the passage of time, it naturally had a shocking ancient aura. All kinds of sword technique totems could be seen everywhere in the underground palace, and there was also the lotus curve sword qi that Su Fang had cultivated before. In fact, these sword technique totems were all the mental cultivation techniques of the Green Lotus Sword sect's experts, and all the secret manuals. When he arrived at the center, there was a sword tomb. The open sword tomb merged with the underground palace. It turned out that the underground palace was a sword tomb. In the sword pool formed by the sword tomb, there were many sword lights and sword intent runes brewing. These were all treasures with the power of the flying immortal realm. Su Fang absorbed them one by one. There was too much, and it was estimated that tens of thousands of people could refine this power, and in a short 1,000 years, all of them would reach the flying immortal realm. As a large force, the Green Lotus Sword sect's foundation was too unbelievable. In the center of the sword pool, there was a stone tablet carved out of green jade, and there were only 2 words on it, Green Lotus. This was also the only mark left behind by the Green Lotus Sword sect, and it should have been left here by the first generation of the Green Lotus Sword sect's leader. In the past, his strength was almost on par with the Lord of 5 Poisons, and he was also a leader with the power of a realm lord. There is no huge origin spirit vein as I imagined. Why is there such a shocking explosion of the chi of the world, and it was released from the sword pool? Is there something else? He walked around the sword pool a few times, but he didn't find any huge origin spirit stones or essence spirit veins. Oh! He slowly rose into the air, and his gaze fell upon the jade steel. Behind the jade steel, there was a flying sword hidden behind it. If it weren't for the sword energy condensed from a magic treasure, it would have been difficult for an ordinary cultivator to detect it under the perception of a great circle cultivator. He took it out and saw that it was a spiritual sword that was 2 feet long and 2 fingers wide with countless lotus totems carved on it. A sword chi condensed in his body. It was the original spirit of the Starry Daylight sword. Master, the quality of this spiritual sword is almost as high as little stars. Su Fang was shocked. Is that so? Isn't it the same as the Xian Wang Six Paths Pagoda? Buzz, the spiritual sword suddenly released a violent sword chi. Why? Are you not being honest? Seeing the spiritual sword move, Su Fang immediately knew what was going to happen. He released a large amount of Tao artifact divine light and immediately entangled the spiritual sword. As expected, the spiritual sword was trapped inside, but it was still struggling. After a while, a sword chi condensed inside. It was the original spirit of the spiritual sword. The killing sword intent exploded. The first-generation leader, perfected Qing Lian, ordered that anyone who is not a disciple of the sect who uses this sword must be killed. Su Fang shouted, "You are really a loyal watchdog. There is no eternity in this world. The Green Lotus Sword sect has been destroyed, and you still want to kill me? The Supreme Tao Artifact's divine power can obviously suppress you. If you don't know what's good for you, then I can only shatter this spiritual treasure." The original spirit sword intent slowly disappeared, and he muttered to himself, "The Green Lotus Sword sect has been destroyed. I already have a magic treasure, so I won't fuse with you. But from today onwards I am also your master. I will find a new master for you in the future. Since you stayed here, why didn't you appear when the Green Lotus Sword sect was destroyed? I was only created by the first-generation leader, perfected Qing Lian. I was sealed here to wait for the day when the Green Lotus Sword sect withered, and then find a talented disciple to fuse with. I didn't expect the Green Lotus Sword sect to be destroyed." "I see. Let me ask you, I didn't see a large amount of original spirit essence and primeval stones here. Why is there such a strong Zhuotian realm's world essence here?" Su Fang's mind was still on other things. It was the Wu Tan realm's world essence. Because what he lacked the most now was the world essence. With one more portion, he could fuse more with the Wu Tan realm. The original spirit answered truthfully, "Under this stone tablet, there is a strange stone called the Golden Lotus Stone Flower. It was accidentally obtained by perfected Qing Lian from the Wu Tan realm." Golden Lotus Stone Flower. After perfected Qing Lian obtained the Golden Lotus Stone Flower, he absorbed the world essence inside and became stronger step by step. In the end, he was able to establish the Green Lotus Sword sect. Although the Golden Lotus Stone Flower is only the size of a palm, the world essence it contains is more than the original spirit stone and original spirit essence that you know. Is that so? Hearing the original spirit's words, Su Fang was even more curious. He immediately released his divine power and grabbed the jade tablet out of the sword pool. In an instant, the world essence Xian Guang exploded from the bottom of the sword pool. Sure enough, in the center of the world essence light, under the jade tablet, there was a dark golden stone. It was the size of a fist and was a blooming lotus flower. However, it should be a long time ago. A lotus flower fused with the world essence and finally precipitated into such a stone lotus flower. Su Fang immediately sucked it into his palm and carefully sensed it. This endless lotus stone was very heavy. It seemed that Su Fang was so relaxed, but in fact, it was supporting no less than 10,000 kilograms of force. Although it was in the state of a blooming lotus flower, it was not very delicate. This gave Su Fang the feeling that it was not what he thought before, that it was formed by a special spirit lotus fusing with the earth and petrifying for a long time. He felt that it was formed naturally by the stone and accidentally had the shape of a lotus flower. For some reason, the world essence light emitted from the golden lotus stone flower actually passed through a huge origin essence and spirit vein of primordial stones, and even more than one. How could it be? How could a palm-sized stone pass through the essence stones of the world essence stones? What kind of treasure was it? he asked the sword spirit again. The spirit sword sounded again. Master Qing Lian was still an ordinary cultivator at that time. After obtaining this golden lotus stone flower, his strength increased crazily. However, he did not fuse with this treasure and could not control it at all. Moreover, he did not know what kind of treasure it was. After he established the Green Lotus Sword sect and became good friends with the realm master of the Wu-Tan realm, he undoubtedly revealed that the realm master of the Wu-Tan realm also had this kind of treasure, and there were several pieces. It seemed that only the realm master knew the origin of this treasure. Oh! Immediately, Su Fang's other hand grabbed several empty bags and a mobile cave abode. These were the treasures left behind by the heavenly venerable Dijin. Other than the Qilin Larch armor, there were many other treasures. These were all storage treasures, and there were many treasures inside. Since the heavenly venerable Dijin was a realm master, wouldn't he also have such treasures? He released a large number of Yang souls into the storage treasures. Several days later, from the mobile cave abode, a Yang soul finally took out a gem that was the same as the golden lotus stone flower in Su Fang's hand. The sword spirit trembled. This is the treasure. Alright, there's nothing for you to do. Since you don't know, just wait in my storage treasure in the future. I will find a good master for you. Seeing the two gems, Su Fang first sucked the flying sword into his storage treasure. He then floated above the sword pool. The 10 yang meridians in his body were in a state of self-circulation and cultivation. Now, he just needed to speed up. Then, he looked at the 2 golden lotus stone flowers in his left and right hand. At first glance, they looked similar. However, upon closer inspection, the patterns of the stone flowers were very different. There was also a slight difference in size. However, the power of the world emitted by the 2 gems was exactly the same. Who can unravel the origin of this gem? I'm afraid only the former realm lord of the Wu-Tan realm is able to unravel it. However, even perfected Qing Lian can't unravel it. Then, in this small world, only immortals can truly know its origin. After thinking for a while, he felt that only immortals could unravel the origin of the gem. However, where could there be immortals? If immortals saw him, they would definitely snatch his treasure away. How did I forget about Senior? He thought of a person. Immortals. There was one. He already knew an immortal. It was that mysterious woman in the depths of the Origin Sacred Mirror. He immediately activated the Origin Sacred Mirror. Then, he separated a Yang soul and slowly entered the scarlet storage treasure from the Origin Sacred Mirror. However, he still couldn't move freely. Su Fang began to release 9 Yang Qi and some 9 Yin Qi. He waited for several days. Only when a familiar cold aura faintly attacked him did Su Fang heave a sigh of relief. The familiar mysterious woman's voice said faintly with the cold aura, "You have cultivated 10 Yang meridians. You did not disappoint me." Su Fang was shocked. "Senior Almighty, nothing about this junior's body can escape your eyes." The mysterious woman continued to speak faintly. "If you don't have this ability, how can you send your consciousness here from the other side of the Origin Sacred Mirror? If you have something to tell me, I don't have enough time." Chapter 8:15. Since that was the case, Su Fang did not waste any more time. He immediately released his divine power and condensed the scene of him grabbing the gemstones with true character, turning it into a solidified mental image. When the cold air hit, he released it. "I have 2 things to ask you. The first thing is to ask you to help me see the origin of the 2 gemstones in my hand." When the mysterious cold air hit, he could only see the vague outline of the mysterious woman sitting in the depths of the cold air. He did not know what kind of universe space it was. After a while, the mysterious woman said, "You have been practicing Sector Lord. I thought you were doing something. I'm still a mortal and can't peek into the bright heaven and earth world. The gemstones in your hands are origin gemstones. They are the origin gemstones that you are familiar with, such as origin essence and origin primordial stone. This kind of treasure is the real power of the world. Speaking of which, you may be a little confused. How is it different from other origin gemstones? You have to start from the world. What is the world? The minor kiliacosm, the great kiliacosm, and the celestial world? You won't understand it. In the minor kiliacosm, in ancient times or even older times, there was no Zhuotian realm that you know, only endless stars. First there are stars, then there are worlds, and stars are part of the universe. As the stars move, small worlds and big worlds begin to form. They are first formed by some mysterious power from the universe. For example, that power is like an insignificant magnet. It is born in the galaxy and slowly absorbs the matter and power in the galaxy. Finally, it turns from a speck of dust into a piece of matter, and after countless years, a piece of matter becomes a huge planet. After generations of hard work, our ancestors of the human tribe finally comprehended some of the mysteries of the world and created the way of cultivation. When human beings mastered the way of cultivation, they began to reach the peak of their cultivation in the distant years. With the mysteries of the world they comprehended, they built many small worlds in the stars of the small world. It can be said that most of the small worlds you see in the small worlds are formed naturally. Some of them were created by the powerful practitioners in the universe at the cost of their lifetime. They built the worlds so that human beings could have a foothold in the vast and cold universe. The mysterious woman said slowly with a sigh. Suddenly, she asked Su Fang, "How much do you understand after I said so much?" "I don't know. I only know a little." It seemed that Su Fang did not know what to say and smiled awkwardly. This was something he was powerless to understand. Mortal cultivators were so insignificant. The way of cultivation was so broad and profound that they could understand it after hundreds of years of cultivation. The countless ancestors of the human tribe had to spend countless years to verify the way of cultivation. It's a miracle that you can understand a little. I'm not looking down on immortals. Even the immortals who cultivate in the great world can only understand a little. No way. Immortals are omnipotent. Omnipotent. Immortals are just a change of identity when humans go from a low-level plane world to a high-level plane world. They are still immortals. They can't escape from birth, old age, illness, and death. They are just a little stronger than mortals. Their lifespan, magic power, and strength are far superior to mortals. The mysterious woman poured a basin of cold water on Su Fang, who was eager to learn about immortals and the great world. At this moment, Su Fang suddenly did not understand how big the world was. After thousands of years of cultivation, could immortals not be able to control their own destiny? It's too far away to talk about this. It won't be of much use to you. Instead, it will affect your Taoist heart. The unknown is to seek the truth, which is to cultivate. It's the essence of our cultivation. Seeking the truth, cultivating the truth. After Su Fang heard this, he felt very unfamiliar. Seeking the truth was just 2 words, but it felt like it was deep within the vast stars. After stepping into the immortal realm, you are still in the seeking the truth realm. The 2 gems in your hands are the foundation of a small world. They are called World Origin Force. Oh, they can't be considered World Origin Force. You have this aura in your body, so you should know about World Origin Force. Junior accidentally absorbed World Origin Force when the Heavenly Gourd Spirit Tree was born. It's roughly the same. World Origin Force is one of the purest energies in the world. World Origin Force is also very different. These 2 gems are formed from World Origin Force. They are more familiar than the Origin Essence Stones and Origin Essence Stones. There aren't many of these gems in any small world. They are extremely rare. The source of World Origin Force is the most important thing you need to know. You must remember what I'm about to say. Of course, you don't need to understand too much. You just need to remember. I respectfully listened to Senior's teachings. Su Fang's ears perked up. He looked like a human-shaped rabbit. The reason why I told you about immortals and mortals' cultivation knowledge, such as seeking the truth, is to tell you how the world was born, and how the world is related to cultivators. This is the most important thing you need to know. Seeking the truth, I reckon that before humans were born, there were ancient creatures who thought about this question countless times. They thought about why they were living here and why they were facing the boundless universe. Now, with the cultivation technique, through the hard work of countless human ancestors, they realized that whether it is the world or life, they all seem to come from the vast universe. After humans understood the birth of the world, they created the cultivation technique. They wanted to cultivate the world just like how the world was born. They wanted to turn themselves into a world and exist among the stars. In the end, they wanted humans to reach the peak of the universe and grasp true immortality. To put it simply, the foundation of the cultivation technique, the seeking the truth, comes from the birth of the world. Humans don't want to become dust in the universe. Humans used the process of the birth of the world to capture a large amount of its mysteries and created the cultivation technique. In other words, cultivators like you and me, no matter if we're mortals or immortals, the process and goal of our cultivation is the process of the birth of the world. This is the law of the cultivation technique, the essence of the cultivation technique. The law of the world is the essence of the great differences in our cultivation. All living beings' cultivation path is different, and they all want to achieve the same goal. This is the essence of the cultivation technique. Senior, are you saying that the process of a cultivator's cultivation is the same as the birth of the world? That's part of it. Your comprehension ability is extraordinary. We humans follow the law of the world. That's why the Realm Master stands at the peak among countless cultivators. It's because the Realm Master has surpassed the majority of cultivators and began to cultivate the law of the world, grasping the supreme power of the stars. That's all I can say. If I say too much, you won't understand. This is because all of this is the experience of countless human cultivators. It's not something you can understand even if I tell you. The cultivation technique contains the dreams of countless lifeforms to defy the heavens. From mortals to immortals, humans have always walked the path of seeking the truth alone. White bones litter the world, the sea changes into mulberry field. The only thing that will never change is the supreme stars. In the future, Junior will focus on the cultivation of the world. I really didn't misjudge you. With just one sentence, you said the essence of the immortals seeking the truth. Let's talk about your two gems. They contain the origin power of the world. Then in the depths of the Wu-Tan world, there must be a fragment of the world. A fragment of the world. Another existence that he couldn't make sense of. The mysterious woman explained, a fragment of the world is the original substance of the world. Senior, could it be the magnet stone that you used as an example? You're worth teaching. Junior understands. That fragment of the world is the true origin power of the Wu-Tan world. It's also the essence that gave birth to the Wu-Tan world. Correct, a fragment of the world is incomparably important. It's something that can only be chanced upon. A fragment of the world contains supreme mysteries and supreme power. These two gems are in the vicinity of the fragment of the world. They absorbed the power of the fragment of the world and formed the origin power of the world. You should find it and then think of a way to fuse with it. Only cultivators who possess a fragment of the world can be considered a true realm master. Just like those realm masters of small worlds you've seen, they're actually cultivating the power of the world, adapting to the cultivation of the origin power of the world. It's also for the sake of obtaining a fragment of the world in the future. Senior, thank you for your explanation. Junior will go look for the fragment of the world in a moment. He finally understood, but he was still confused. It was as if the pursuit of truth, the essence, the birth of the world, and so on, which the mysterious woman had mentioned just a moment ago, had become vague. Curious, he told the mysterious woman these things. Her explanation allowed Su Fang to quickly understand, because those were supreme mysteries that required cultivation, experience, and engraving in one's Tao heart. Only then could one remember them, and only by comprehending them could one become eternal. This was the pursuit of truth. One had to know that at the end of cultivation, one had to rely on oneself to cultivate. Tribulation taker. Next, Su Fang seized the opportunity and began to ask the second question that he wanted to know. Tribulation taker. After hearing this, the mysterious woman was slightly startled at first. There are many cultivators in this world who will obtain extraordinary power due to many opportunities. Tribulation takers are very few of them. Tribulation takers are only born when the world undergoes a metamorphosis. Rumor has it that tribulation takers possess the unknown power of the metamorphosis. Their strength is unfathomable, and their abilities are astonishing. They can often achieve miracles that everyone thinks are impossible. However, rumor has it that tribulation takers are like meteors streaking across the sky. They will not be eternal. Their appearance and cultivation are mysterious, and no one really understands them. Su Fang sighed. Junior knows 2 cultivators who are both tribulation takers. Moreover, they were both born after 2 divine sons, appeared in the sky one after another. Not long ago, someone said that I also have a part of the tribulation taker's power, so I'm very curious about them. Tribulation takers are also cultivators. I don't know much about them. If you really do have the power of a tribulation taker, then you must pay more attention, because many people have said that tribulation takers who are born when the world undergoes a metamorphosis will often have the fortune to change the world. Fortune and misfortune go hand in hand. You should focus on cultivating the power of the world and the 9 suns' 9 transformations. After the mysterious woman finished speaking, she disappeared along with the cold air. Farewell, Senior. After bowing, he stood up for a long time. He immediately returned to his original body and absorbed the world origin power on the 2 gemstones. His eyes lit up. World fragment, what kind of existence are you? His eyes were filled with impatience. He immediately used his earth elemental power to cross the underground palace and released his sensing power to search for the world fragment. Chapter 8:16. Su Fang's speed became faster and faster as he shuttled through the depths of the earth. After a few hours, he got closer and closer to the core of the world. The core. It was like the golden core in a cultivator's dantian. The core was the dantian, and the golden core was the core. It was the essence of the world. If the Wu-Tan realm was formed because of the fragment of the world, then it could only be in one place, the core of the world. Su Fang, who was shuttling, was already very slow. When he got close to the core, he was running like a mortal. This is troublesome. The reason for his slow speed was not because of the consumption of vital qi, but because the rocks in the core were abnormally hard. They were estimated to be at least as hard as the Xianhuang Six Paths Pagoda or even the Starry Daylight Sword. The hardness of the rocks made it difficult for Su Fang's earth-type magic to move through. With his current strength, he could only move forward at a walking pace. Later on, his vital qi began to be consumed. Every step he took was difficult. If it was not for the earth-type magic, it would be difficult for him to walk with his own strength. When he finally reached the core, he could no longer move forward. The core was like the 2 gems he had obtained before. It was full of the world's force. The force was too deep and boundless. Su Fang felt that he had come to the deepest part of the world. Standing in front of the majestic world, he was too small. The stone of the core not only had the force but also the power of the stars. The color of the stone was also starry black, which was very different from the outer layer of the core. He also found that it seemed that the hardness of the deepest part of the core was higher than the starry daylight sword and any magic treasure in the mortal world. It was estimated that it was as hard as a Tao artifact. In the past, I naively thought that a cultivator from the Chi-Eater realm to the fairy realm and became an existence that surpassed everything. It was a big mistake. If the strength of a fairy realm cultivator was only at the fairy realm, how could a small world exist in the vast galaxy? It would have been destroyed by the galaxy's power like the interstellar storm. Look at the mortal sovereign realm. After the fall of the mortal sovereign, the world withered. It floated in the galaxy for so many years and fell into the debris of the meteorite. It must have been hit by meteorites again and again, but it still stands in the galaxy, majestic and unmoving. I'm really too insignificant. It's not just me. All the cultivators of the mortal worlds, even those world lords, are insignificant. What world lord can fuse with the core? No wonder even world lords like the great ape devil died so easily. They can't completely fuse with the world. They can only control the world's energy or, like the 6 lords of fertility, fuse with an entire continent. At this moment, standing in front of the Earth's core was like being sealed inside. For a moment, he was at a loss. Even if there's no other way, I still have to try. I can't wait until I reach the flying immortal realm with 3 heavenly calamities before I can obtain the world fragment. Since its force, and I also control a portion of the Wu-Tan realm's world essence, why don't I just use my blood essence to fuse with the Earth's core? Then, I can use the ethereal true solutions path of illusion and reality. This way, I can once again penetrate into the depths of the Earth's core. He had thought of all kinds of methods. Qigong in the end, he came up with an idea. He drew on the quintessence of the world, then released some of his quintessence blood to push his Earth-type God power to the limit. Then, he would use the ethereal true dissociations Tao of the real and the illusory truth as a foundation to further increase his own strength. It worked. Earth-type energy caused Su Fang to walk step by step toward the Earth's core. However, his true energy was severely depleted. Suddenly, he sent out a stream of will to continue forward, 1 step at a time. As he went deeper and deeper, he found that the Earth's core had many lotuses carved into it. The world fragment really was here. 3 months later, a series of tremors came from the depths of the Earth's core. At this moment, Su Fang was within the core, his body emanating origin power and earth attribute might. He revealed a smile. "My lord." Suddenly, a streak of yellow crystalline stone appeared from the Earth's core behind Su Fang. It formed a sharp belt of stone that kept approaching Su Fang. Wooling Goblin. This was Su Fang's second method. Since the abilities of humans were limited, then what about monsters? Wooling Goblin was a stone demon, but in the end it was still a monster. It had absorbed the quintessence of heaven, earth, sun, and moon, and had entered the Tao through demonic cultivation technique. In the end, it had transformed from a mountainside into a stone demon. Your subordinate was fighting with everyone and the experts of the Beichen zone when I received Master's orders and immediately rushed back. However, this is the Earth's core, the deepest part of the Earth's core. No matter how Master came here, your subordinate cannot stay here for long. The shackles of the Earth's core have turned into pressure. If this continues, your subordinate will be stuck here. Wooling Goblin used its spiritual body to pass through the Earth's core like a stone snake. Magical. Su Fang looked ahead. I want to get a lotus-shaped world fragment at the center of the Earth's core. It's probably still a long way to go. I can't go there alone. You are a natural monster, so I will help you with all my strength to enter the depths of the Earth's core. When I was in the immortal melody world, I also absorbed the quintessence of the Earth's core and know how hard the Earth's core is. Su Fang first put away the world's source, then absorbed the Wuling Goblin into the small universe immortal pot. It took a while for him to leave the ground. Before long, Bai Ling arrived as well, bringing many origin powerhouses with her. Bai Ling also brought more than 1,000 evil and demon experts to Su Fang, as well as hundreds of big goblin. Each of them had the strength of 3 or 2 calamity level. Continue to guard your respective territories. If there is anything, inform me immediately. After passing the runes to the source powerhouses, he and Bai Ling disappeared in a flash. After leaving the Wu-Tan world, the two flew towards a small world in front of the Star River. Bai Ling asked curiously, "We are going to the Beichen Zone. The Beichen Zone is blocking our people from entering. We don't have much time. We have to seize the Beichen Zone immediately and move the two-planet." The most important thing now was to seize the Beichen Zone as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.